Although Gao Yuanming was the chairman of K's, he inexplicably developed a reliance on Xiaofeng at some point. This might have been because KS faced a capital chain crisis, and Xiaofeng extended a helping hand during its most critical moment. Because if it were not for Xiaofeng's assistance that time, K's would likely have come to an end, ultimately declaring bankruptcy. And if it had gone bankrupt, Gao Yuanming would probably have never recovered, much less achieved his current success. Therefore, Gao Yuanming had always been deeply grateful to Xiaofeng, thankful for Xiaofeng's rescue during his most critical time, especially since Xiaofeng had given Gao Yuanming a full 10 million and only asked for 30% of the shares. This was truly a benefactor. Of course, in reality, even without Xiaofeng's help, WIS would eventually have secured investment and become a large group valued at 300 billion. But Gao Yuanming did not know that. Gao Yuanming only knew that without Xiaofeng's initial 10 million investment, there would be no K's today. As a result, Gao Yuanming unknowingly became somewhat reliant on Xiaofeng, even to the point where, as seen now, he subconsciously reported his work to Xiaofeng. And Xiaofeng even subconsciously praised Gao Yuanming. What was wrong with that? Gao Yuanming had proactively asked, "Did not I do well?" Xiaofeng naturally could not let the atmosphere go cold. Moreover, judging from the current situation, Xiaofeng was indeed the financial backer behind Gao Yuanming's company. Because going forward, if KS Group wanted to become larger and stronger, it would definitely need continuous financing. And each round of financing would dilute Xiaofeng's original 30% stake, which was inevitable. A company goes through round after round of financing from its founding to its listing. If Xiaofeng wanted to maintain his 30% stake until the company went public, he would have to invest additional funds in each round of financing. If Xiaofeng did not consider further financing, his original 30% stake would be increasingly diluted. He recalled that Hayes company had a total of 11 rounds of financing until its listing, with total financing reaching 33.6 billion. And if Xiaofeng did not invest in any subsequent rounds of financing, then his 30% stake, according to the dilution calculation, would be approximately 72%. Xiaofeng's 30% stake would only be about 8% after listing. If the market value was 300 billion, Xiaofeng's 8% would be worth approximately 24 billion. Therefore, to maintain 30%, further investment would definitely be required, but that was only under conventional circumstances and in his previous life. This time, there was no need for such trouble at all. The reason a company constantly needed financing in its early stages was due to insufficient funds, necessitating investments from various sources. However, Xiaofeng had ample financial support, and combined with his experiences from his previous life, he could enable K's to start profiting more quickly. Once groups started making profits, it naturally would not need to seek investments everywhere. Forget 11 rounds of financing besides a few necessary rounds. It could go public in a maximum of 3 rounds. Xiaofeng's purpose for coming today was to point out the future direction and plan for Gao Yuanming. How to enable Cuz to seize the market as quickly as possible and then start making profits, or simply put, monetize. For example, live streaming tips, advertising revenue sharing, and e-commerce product promotion. Just these 3 alone would be enough for the company to quickly rake in huge profits. And these 3, in the current context, were all advanced operating models. Xiaofeng also laid out all his thoughts and plans. This was both a suggestion and more like a decision. After listening, Gao Yuanming immediately felt he had a direction and a goal. Gao Yuanming slapped his forehead. Right. Our short video platform can also have a live streaming function. Why did not I think of it before? Mr. Xiao, this first live streaming plan you proposed is simply perfect. This way, creators will have income, and we will also have income, allowing us to profit earlier. However, it's not a 50% revenue share for live streaming too high to give them after all. Other live streaming platforms domestically currently only give streamers a 30% share. No, Xiaofeng patiently explained. Our platform is primarily a short video app, and live streaming is an additional income. We will use high revenue sharing first to attract all the streamers, especially well-known streamers such as some game streamers. If these streamers join our platform, they will also bring a certain amount of traffic to our platform, creating a win-win situation. In short, Mr. Gao, trust me, offering a 50% commission will definitely be more beneficial than detrimental and will surely enable our app to grow stronger and faster. As for the advertising revenue sharing and product promotion I just mentioned, we will start implementing them when our platform's registered users exceed 100 million for better results. At that time, I will hold a more detailed meeting about these two plans for better follow-up. For now, let the technical department develop the live streaming function. I will provide the detailed plan. Good, good, excellent! Gao Yuanming excitedly gripped Xiao Feng's hands. Mr. Xiao, you are simply the lucky star of our KS group. It was only 10 a.m., and after hearing Xiao Feng's plan, Gao Yuanming immediately convened a meeting. It was a leadership meeting for the entire company. As the company's vice president, Xiao Feng also fully presented the upcoming plans and proposals. Furthermore, Xiao Feng was not only the company's vice president, but also its financial backer, holding a 30% stake. His words carried significant weight within KS company. Even more unbelievably, Xiao Feng could not only provide plans, but also technical assistance. His memories and knowledge of technologies from his previous life, when applied in the current year 2010, made him almost godlike. Even the technical department staff were practically becoming Xiao Feng's little fans. As a result, no one ever opposed any plan proposed by Vice President Xiao Feng. Everyone fully supported and approved every plan, then obediently followed through. After hearing Xiao Feng's proposal, the technology department also chest-thumpingly guaranteed that they would perfectly replicate the live streaming function according to Xiao Feng's requirements within 1 month. Additionally, Zhao Jingxin, who was in charge of promotion and operations, also guaranteed that registered users would exceed 20 million within 1 month. And once Klaus launched its live streaming function with 20 million base users, revenue would be inevitable and KS Company could achieve profitability. As long as it could achieve a profitable state, there would be no need for so many rounds of subsequent financing. In short, Xiao Feng could provide plans, technical assistance, and financial support. Although Gao Yuanming was the chairman of the entire KS group, now, it seemed everything was decided by Xiao Feng. He was even the backbone of K's group. As the meeting concluded, since Xiao Feng had finally made a visit, he naturally had to chat with Zhang Yang for a while. Currently, Zhang Yang's monthly base salary had reached 10,000 yuan, not including additional commissions. Mainly, Gao Yuanming knew about Zhang Yang's connection with Xiao Feng, so he gave him extra care. This was no longer about Zhang Yang's abilities. It was money earned through his connections. Xiao Feng was effectively Zhang Yang's connection. Of course, Zhang Yang himself was also hardworking. His work ethic was to not slack off. After all, with a monthly income of over 10,000, Zhang Yang would naturally cherish this job very much. Likewise, Zhang Yang himself knew one thing deeply. If it were not for his connection with Xiao Feng, he would not be able to get such a salary and position now. So he was also grateful to Xiao Feng from the bottom of his heart. He heard that he recently started dating a girlfriend, a serious girlfriend, unlike the ones he used to meet at foot massage parlors. Just now, he finished bragging to Xiao Feng about it. All right, Zhang Yang, let us have a meal together sometime when you're free. I would like to meet her too. Oh dear. Zhang Yang scratched his head somewhat awkwardly. We have not officially confirmed the relationship yet, but there should not be much of a problem. By the way, Xiao Feng, can I ask you for a favor? Do we need to ask each other for favors? Just tell me what it is. Zhang Yang glanced at the car keys in Xiao Feng's hand. Godfather, could I borrow your car next week? I need it for a date. If it is inconvenient, never mind. Which day do you need it? Next Thursday, October 7th, just for 1 day. Xiao Feng thought about it after hearing him. Next Thursday was National Day holiday, and he would not need it. Sure, no problem. Tomorrow is the National Day holiday. After Xiao Feng finished his morning meeting at Company's group, he went to Mizzhou Company in the afternoon. The progress of Mizzhou Company was quite smooth. It must be said that General Manager Lei himself is very capable. Under his leadership, as long as there is no shortage of funds, everything proceeds smoothly and advances continuously. Given the current progress, It is estimated that it can be completed 1-2 months faster than anticipated. Technically, Xiaofeng hardly needed to provide any assistance. All these issues could be resolved under General Manager Lei's leadership. And Xiaofeng, as always said, money is not an issue. The phrase money is not an issue was the greatest support and help for Mizhou Company. Afterward, Xiaofeng arrived at Flash Delivery to Home Company. Flash Delivery to Home is currently attempting to expand its services throughout Jiangzhen City. Xiaofeng's 20 million yuan from a few days ago had already arrived, and these 20 million yuan were invested into the Jiangzhen City market. Combined with the promotion plan provided by Xiaofeng, it was like a dimensionality reduction strike, breaking into the market. Therefore, whether in promotion or operation, everything was very smooth. Coupled with Wang Wei's dedicated efforts, significant results had already been achieved. Just as Wang Wei had promised, within 2 months, they would definitely capture the Jiangzhen City market. The so-called occupation did not mean that everyone had the Flash Delivery to Home app on their phones, but rather that Flash Delivery to Home services could cover all high-traffic streets and urban areas throughout the city, except for particularly remote suburbs. As long as it was a bustling urban area, opening the app would allow users to order takeout using Flash Delivery to Home. This was considered laying out the entire market. Once the market was laid out, they would then consider how to acquire more users. For example, Jiangzhen City currently has a population of 15 million, but only 150,000 people choose to order takeout using their mobile phones. If 100,000 of them chose to use Flash Delivery to Home, that would be considered market capture and dominance. Then, they would consider how to promote it to encourage more people to accept using mobile phones for ordering takeout, increasing the user base from 150,000 to 300,000, then to 500,000, and finally reaching 1 million or even more. Once people developed the habit of ordering takeout and a certain scale was achieved, the valuation of the Flash Delivery to Home app would naturally rise. At that time, Xiaofeng would rely on fundraising, actively diluting his 90% stake to allow more capital to enter the market, protect the market, and provide escort. Furthermore, for Flash Delivery to Home to grow and become strong, promotion and operation truly require significant capital investment, and a very large amount at that. Precisely because of this, Xiaofeng immediately secured 90% of the shares, as subsequent fundraising would inevitably require other capital to invest heavily. As for Xiaofeng, although his shares would be diluted, he would definitely be able to make money effortlessly in the future. In summary, every step was within the plan. Finally, Xiaofeng also made a special trip to Risheng Group. Yan Wenchen personally guided Xiaofeng throughout, thoroughly explaining Risheng Group's industries and future plans. After all, Xiaofeng held a 10% stake in Risheng Group, making him a major shareholder of the group. By the end of the day, Xiaofeng was exhausted. He visited 4 places in total: X Group, Mizhou Company, Flash Delivery to Home, and Risheng Group. There were also several calls in between regarding the contracting of his hometown. In short, it was all his own industry. He left home at 9 a.m. and did not return to his Polaris headquarters until 5 p.m. Now, Polaris could indeed be called a headquarters. Even theoretically, it could be called a group. A so-called group is when the parent company has registered capital exceeding 50 million yuan and owns 5 controlling subsidiaries. Then the parent company can be called a group. According to the above standards, Xiaofeng's current Polaris was absolutely fine. Below it, there were already 5 different industries and shares. Xiaofeng was just relatively low-key. If he were a bit more high-profile, it could now be called Polaris Group. If he were even more high-profile, giving himself the title of chairman would not be impossible either. Thinking of this, the corners of Xiaofeng's mouth slightly curved upward. Let us keep a low profile for now. Be a bit more discreet. General Manager Xiao, another ground-floor commercial property, was negotiated today. 210 square meters with a total price of 4.5 million yuan. However, tomorrow is National Day, so the contract can only be signed after the holiday, Dahu said. Today is September 30th, the last day of the month. Tomorrow will be a long holiday. As of now, Xiaofeng's ground-floor commercial properties total exactly 20 units. This does not include the one negotiated today. For these 20 ground-floor commercial properties, Xiao Feng spent a total of 57.33 million yuan, averaging 2.86 million yuan per unit. All these ground-floor commercial properties are managed by Dahu's team, which has been separately organized. They are responsible not only for continuously acquiring ground-floor commercial properties, but also for subsequent rent collection. Currently, 12 out of these 20 ground-floor commercial properties have started to be rented out, and money is beginning to be collected. Furthermore, these 20 ground-floor commercial properties are 100% guaranteed to appreciate in value in the future, whether through rent collection or if they are subject to demolition. Well done. Continue acquiring them after National Day, sticking to the previously agreed target of 50 units. Understood, General Manager Xiao. Rest assured, we guarantee to complete the task. Just then, General Manager Xiao, all the bitcoins collected today, including those from Hu's team, have been transferred to your account. As soon as Guo Shouhang spoke, he naturally commanded attention. The main reason was that what he did was part of the most lucrative project. In the past few days, Hu's team and Guo Shouhang's overseas team still met their daily target, with no less than 8,000 bitcoins credited. Especially today, it once again surpassed 10,000 coins. After Guo Shouhang transferred the bitcoins to Xiao Feng's account, Xiao Feng's bitcoin account once again reached a new highlight. Current balance, 500,320 coins. Yes, Xiao Feng's bitcoin balance finally exceeded 500,000. Once again, Xiao Feng's new goal was accomplished ahead of schedule. From a target of 100,000, it became 300,000 and now 500,000. Upon seeing the balance of 500,000 coins, Xiao Feng suppressed his inner excitement, and the corners of his mouth curved slightly upward. However, his facial expression remained calm and composed. Stay calm. Just a mere 500,000 coins. Xiao Feng simply calmed his excited emotions. The work was done so beautifully, and tomorrow was National Day, a continuous 7-day holiday. So much so that, excellent work. Everyone has worked hard recently. Tomorrow starts the long holiday, so everyone in the company will receive a 3,000 yuan red packet, which can be used to reimburse travel expenses for your holiday trips. Right off the bat, it was 3,000 yuan. One must know that Polaris alone currently has 50 employees. 3,000 per person would be 150,000 yuan. While everyone was excited, some also expressed confusion. General Manager Xiao, you just said everyone in the company gets one, do I? Do I also get one? The question came from the company's cleaning ant. Xiao Feng slightly furrowed his brow. Why would not you, Aunt Liu? You are also one of us. Of course you get one. The next second, General Manager Xiao then. What about me? I just started this Monday, only worked 3 days. Do I also get one? I already said everyone. 3,000 per person. General Manager Xiao is generous. Thank you, General Manager Xiao. Thanks, General Manager Xiao. It is a long holiday, so everyone should be happy. And these 3,000 yuan were distributed on the spot. Ahem. Just then, a familiar sound came from his phone. It was a notification sound from QQ. Ahem. Ahem. A dozen messages kept popping up. Xiao Feng casually glanced at it. It turned out to be a group chat in the class group. Class group, old classmates, everyone should be free during this National Day holiday. Right. Let us get together. When he saw the messages in the university class group, Xiao Feng was not surprised at all what was supposed to came. Xiao Feng did remember there being this get-together and that the meal was eaten at the Lingyun 5-star hotel. But in his previous life, Xiao Feng did not attend at all. At that time, Li Jinian was critically ill, and Xiao Feng had also spent 100,000 yuan on stone gambling, losing all his money. In such a desperate situation, how could Xiao Feng possibly attend a class reunion? Because back then, Xiao Feng only had one thing on his mind every day: finding money, frantically finding money, and he had borrowed from everyone around him. Even Zhang Yang, who had lost all his savings buying football lottery tickets, still managed to give Xiao Feng 5,000 yuan. It was also because Xiao Feng was borrowing money everywhere that his university classmates all knew about his current situation. Even if Xiao Feng had not asked them for money, everyone in the class group could naturally see the news. because there is always someone who likes to gossip and spill the beans in the group. They would even add fuel to the fire in the group. At that time, Xiaofeng did not care at all. He only wanted to borrow money to treat Li Jinian's illness. Everything else was irrelevant. Precisely because of this, in his previous life, whether in the group or among his classmates, some negative information about Xiaofeng would circulate. For example, Xiaofeng spent 100,000 yuan on stone gambling, hoping for a chance, but in the class group, it became Xiaofeng taking his last 100,000 yuan to gamble. Another example, Xiaofeng clearly did his best for Li Jinian, taking care of her until the end. But in the class group, it became Xiaofeng being ungrateful and not caring whether Li Jinian lived or died. Anyway, most people are irresponsible with their words, and to attract attention, they maliciously exaggerate. Just as the saying goes, people do not want to hear the truth, they only like to hear what they want to hear. In his previous life, Xiaofeng was already envied because of his good looks and because he managed to pursue Li Jinian, the school's beauty queen. When such things happened later, everyone loved to watch such a spectacle and made it a topic of conversation. As a result, the rumors became wilder and wilder. But in this life, everything was different. Li Jinian's illness could be said to be almost completely cured, and there was no need to worry about medical expenses. His classmates did not even know that Li Jinian had been sick. As for Xiaofeng's current situation, he was theoretically financially free long ago, with a net worth of 1 billion. Of course, although the current situation was a complete dimensionality reduction attack, Xiaofeng still did not really want to attend such class reunions. Mainly, what was the point of attending? Everyone would just be wearing a mask of hypocrisy, outwardly wishing you well, but deep down, hoping that each person was worse off than the last. So Xiaofeng indeed had no intention of attending such a low-end dinner party. To attend with his current status, would not that just be purely for showing off? And as everyone knows, Xiaofeng liked to keep a low profile, so he naturally did not plan to go. But someone wanted Xiaofeng to go. Class group. Yeah. It has been several months since we graduated. Everyone should have found good jobs by now, right? And their jobs should be stable, too. It is time to get together. I also think we should get together. By the way, how many classmates are still in Jiangzhen City after graduation? Give us a count. I'm here. Me too. Not me. I went to Shanghai. I went to Beijing. I am in Hangzhou. Those who are not in Jiangzhen City, do not speak up. Whoever is, give us a count. Let us make a plan. Wu Yutong, me. I am in Jiangzhen City, and I am free during the holiday. I can go, but nowadays, it is popular for guys to split the bill and girls to be free. What is the deal with our get-together? Zhou Xiaofan, Yutong, of course. Girls do not have to split the bill. Guys split it. Girls are free. That is the unspoken rule. Jiang Yu, Zhou Xiaofan, where did that rule come from? Also, it is your business to fawn over Wu Yutong, but I do not see her paying you any mind. Jiang Yu's words in the class group were like throwing a firecracker, immediately igniting the discussion and making Zhou Xiaofan lose face. But what he said was not wrong. In the current time frame, there was not yet the term simp to describe a simp. One could only use fawning or honest person, but fawning was equivalent to calling him a simp. So Zhou Xiaofan naturally was not happy. Zhou Xiaofan, Jiang Yu, what do you mean? If you can't afford it, do not come. It is like this everywhere else. Guys split the bill, girls are free. Besides, it is just a meal. Look at you, a grown man being so petty. Is your work not going well? Or are you not earning enough? If you are not earning enough, if it really comes down to it, I will even pay for your share. Anyway, I have started a company now, so I am not short on cash. Xiaofeng had nothing else to do at the moment and was watching the group chat with great interest. And when he saw Zhou Xiaofan's chat message, Xiaofeng immediately frowned. In his previous life, he remembered very clearly that several people in the group had a falling out after the class reunion. It was all because of splitting the bill at the end. Zhou Xiaofan was one of them, and he was the most unhappy, claiming that his company's capital chain had problems. Xiaofeng became increasingly curious about how big a company could be to get stuck by a 200 yuan capital chain issue. However, in the group at this moment, When everyone saw that Zhou Xiaofan had started a company, they looked on with envy, and some even started flattering and currying favor. Amazing Zhou Xiaofan, you actually started your own company. That is entrepreneurship. Did not expect you to be so bold, starting a company just 3 months after graduation. If your company goes public in the future, I will have to come work for you. Brother Fan, take care of me when you are successful later. Zhou Xiaofan was also enjoying this moment greatly. Moreover, even Wu Yutong, who had previously ignored Zhou Xiaofan, immediately changed her attitude and actively mentioned him. Wu Yutong, Zhou Xiaofan. Nice, Xiaofan. So impressive. What kind of business does your company do? Is it large scale? It had to be Wu Yutong. She knew how to probe for details. Zhou Xiaofan, the company is responsible for connecting with advertising businesses and has already contracted a number of advertisers' businesses. As for the rest, it is not convenient to disclose, for now it is a trade secret. The 4 words, trade secret, sounded very impressive. Li Dadong Zhou Xiaofan. You are also in the advertising business. Then we are colleagues. I also opened a company and have contracted quite a few advertising businesses. When Xiao Feng saw this message, he frowned again. This guy named Li Dadong, it seemed, was also the one who could not even afford to split 200 yuan in the end. Both of them were in the advertising business, and both had started companies. Current advertising was not necessarily a super hot trend, but it was still a period of dividends. Mainly, everything was a period of dividends at the moment. And these two ended up like this. Xiao Feng became more and more curious. Just for this, Xiao Feng had to go and see. Because if Xiao Feng attended the class reunion, as long as he talked to these two, their entries would immediately refresh and he would instantly see the truth. At the same time, the class group chat continued. You are all so amazing. Our class group is not big, but there are indeed quite a few bosses. Indeed, unlike me, I can only work for others and only earn 30,000 in monthly salary. Damn, a salary of 30,000. That is a lot already. Since everyone is doing so well, where should we go for dinner then? We should go to a decent place, right? Wu Yutong, how about Lingyun Hotel? It is a 5-star hotel in Jiangjin City, and the cost is not expensive. A table is only about 2,000 yuan. Anyway, you do not have to pay for it. Zhou Xiaofan, sounds good, sounds good. Let us listen to Yutong and go there. Li Dadong, all right. It is a 5-star hotel after all, so let us go there. So it is decided. What date? How about the 7th? It is the last day of the holiday. Okay, the 7th it is. Everyone, let us say in advance who is coming that day. Me, and me. I am going too. Qiao Yuqi is Xiao Feng going. If he goes, I will go. Amidst the cheerful chat, someone suddenly brought up a new topic. Qiao Yuqi was Xiao Feng's admirer, a pursuit that began in high school. Zhou Ping's previous resentment towards Xiao Feng stemmed from this very reason. But later, Xiao Feng got into a 211 university, while Zhou Ping did not, so he went out to work early. Qiao Yuqi, however, was different. She was a good student and applied to the same university as Xiao Feng. It is just that Xiao Feng truly had no feelings for Qiao Yuqi. It was not that she was not pretty, it was just that feelings were a strange thing. Males, in terms of choosing a partner, are visual animals, while females are emotional animals. If a guy has no feelings for a girl, even if they are put together, it is hard to change and he might never fall in love. But girls are different. If 2 people are put together, as long as the guy is not particularly ugly, over time, the girl will likely fall for him and develop feelings. Of course, there are exceptions to everything. Xiao Feng's feelings for Qiao Yuqi were precisely of that kind, where he had no feelings at all, so they naturally never got together. Later, he even chose Li Jinian. In his memory, Qiao Yuqi did not attend this class reunion in his previous life because she had asked the same question at that time. In the previous life, after learning that Xiao Feng was not going, she never showed up again. Later, less than a month later, she went abroad. After that, he heard that she had already gotten married abroad, and they never contacted each other again. And now, Qiao Yuqi asked the same question in the group again. As Qiao Yuki popped up, the group immediately became restless. Oh, is not this Yuki? We rarely see you online. Still thinking about Xiao Feng, he is already living with Senior Li Jinian. Right. Qiao Yuki, everyone. Please do not misunderstand. My family has already arranged for me to go abroad. I will be leaving in half a month. I just asked casually. Understood. Understood. So you just wanted to see your former crush one last time. Liu Wenhao Xiaofeng, are you free on the 7th? Wu Feng, Xiaofeng, are you coming? Everyone else was also just joining in the fun. Zhou Xiaofan, everyone, stop tagging Xiaofeng. Maybe Xiaofeng has not even found a job yet, so how could he be in the mood for a class reunion? Zhang Yu, Zhou Xiaofan, what you said is a bit too much. Xiaofeng graduated from a 211 university, he can find a job easily. Could it be that you are afraid Xiaofeng will steal your thunder if he comes? After all, he still crushes you in terms of looks. Zhou Xiaofan, Zhang Yu, are you sick? I say one thing, and you retort. You only lived with Xiaofeng for a few years, is that why you are so biased towards him? Besides, now that we are out in society, who still cares about looks? It is all about strength, about who earns more money. Although I run a small company now, I earn tens of thousands of yuan a month. What can Xiaofeng compare with me? Xu Changlin, Zhou Xiaofan. I do not agree with what you said. What if Xiaofeng also earns tens of thousands a month? Zhou Xiaofan. Ha ha ha, that is impossible. After all, 2 months ago, I saw a post from Xiaofeng on QQ Space saying something about successfully starting a new job and being in his internship period. He probably earns at most 5,000 a month. Zhang Yu, did not you just say that Xiaofeng might not have even found a job yet? Zhou Xiaofan, because he deleted that post later, and only 5,000 a month. What is the difference between having that job and not having it? What I earn in a month is enough for him for a year. Holy cow, Brother Fan is awesome. So Brother Fan must be earning 60 or 70,000 a month. Brother Fan is mighty. Please lead us too. Brother Fan is amazing. He started a company right after graduation. For a time. In the class group, Zhou Xiaofan was once again flattered. And another person, Li Dadong, naturally was not to be outdone, as he also said he ran an advertising company. Li Dadong, I am about the same, at least 50,000 a month, sometimes more when business is good. Brother Dong is mighty. Brother Dong is amazing. Xiaofeng, I happen to be off that day, so I will go too. At this moment, Xiaofeng finally could not resist and sent his first message. Undoubtedly, Xiaofeng was definitely going to attend this class reunion. He was not going because of Qiao Yuqi, as he had no feelings for her at all. But for this class reunion, he really wanted to see what these classmates were all doing. Especially regarding Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong, Xiaofeng was extremely curious. They claimed to run companies and earn at least 50,000 a month, yet they could not even settle a 200 yuan bill. Is not that contradictory? Also, if they both ran companies and their businesses were both related to advertising, then Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong would be peers. But why did not they collaborate offline? And why did not they know each other was in the industry? The key was that both of them claimed it was a trade secret and needed to be kept confidential. Xiaofeng did not care about anything else. He wanted to see business opportunities. After all, at the current time, anything could make money, and advertising was one of the dividend periods. If possible, Xiaofeng might learn some experience from them and get a piece of the pie. But if Xiaofeng wanted to do it, he would definitely aim for something big and strong. So Xiaofeng naturally had to go. He could satisfy his curiosity and maybe even make money. As Xiaofeng's message was sent, other messages in the group followed. Zhang Yu. Great, Xiaofeng. It has been a long time since we have seen each other. Let us catch up at the class reunion. Xu Changlin. Yeah, we used to be in the same dorm. We have not seen each other since graduation. This class reunion is a good chance to gather. Jiang Yu and Shu Changlin were Xiaofeng's former dorm mates. Their relationship was not particularly good, but it was not bad either. It is just that these two have not found suitable jobs in Zhangzhou City and are currently unemployed. In his memory, These two later went to other cities for development, and after that they rarely kept in touch. Zhou Xiaofan. Oh, Xiaofeng. You were still here. My bad. I thought you were not checking the group messages. Do not take what I said just now to heart. Xiaofeng. It is fine. As long as you, Boss Zhou, are happy. Qiao Yuki? Then I will go too. Is it definitely the 7th? That is right. Let us make it the 7th, the last day of the holiday. The location will be Lingyun Hotel. Wu Yutong. I will confirm one last time. Girls are free and guys go Dutch. Zhou Xiaofan. Yes. Yes, that is right. You must come. Yutong. Wu Yutong. Okay, Xiaofan. Zhou Xiaofan. Ah, Yutong, you seem to have become gentler towards me. Why do not you two chat privately? And so, Xiaofeng, having nothing else to do during the holiday, decided to attend the class reunion. First, he wanted to understand the truth, and second, he wanted to see business opportunities. If the advertising project was feasible, Xiaofeng would definitely want a share. The only downside was that on the 7th, Zhang Yang happened to borrow his car, crashing it for the whole day. But it did not matter. Xiaofeng was not going there to show off anyway. Keeping a low profile was fine too. As for Li Jinian, Xiaofeng definitely would not bring her to his own class reunion, mainly because Li Jinian was not in the same year as everyone else. She was a senior, 3 years older. Of course, there was still a week until October 7th, and during this week, Xiaofeng also took advantage of his free time to go back to his hometown. Currently, in his hometown, the 3,000 mu contracting had been fully implemented, and greenhouses were being constructed. The processing plant was also under construction. Cold storage equipment had also been delivered. The roads had also officially begun to be repaired. Foundations for the homesteads had also begun to be laid. In short, everything was proceeding in an orderly manner according to plan, with progress faster and smoother than expected. The entire Xintian village had undergone tremendous changes, getting better and better. Qinghe City, Baiyun County. Come, Xiaofeng. I will toast you with tea instead of wine, thanking you for your contributions to the development of Baiyun County. As soon as Xiaofeng returned to his hometown, he Shuheng, as previously agreed, insisted on treating Xiaofeng to dinner, for no other reason than to thank Xiaofeng for his investment in his hometown. And investing in and building his hometown was equivalent to investing in the entire Baiyun County. He Shuheng, as the county's #1 official, was immensely grateful to Xiaofeng, because this single investment by Xiaofeng was equivalent to driving 5%, 10% of Baiyun County's annual GDP, allowing He Shuheng to instantly meet his annual GDP target. Furthermore, in the coming years, Baiyun County would also get better and better as long as Xiaofeng's operations continued. It would inevitably generate a continuous stream of GDP. This was equivalent to a significant political achievement. You know, the previous dairy farmer, who put so much effort into a 30 million investment, ultimately did not secure it. But Xiaofeng, after making money outside, voluntarily came back to his hometown to invest and build. It was precisely for this reason that He Shuheng was deeply grateful to Xiaofeng from the bottom of his heart. After all, although He Shuheng was only there for experience, he also needed certain achievements to prove himself. And Xiaofeng's appearance allowed He Shuheng to exceed his targets, essentially proving his capabilities, which would undoubtedly be a highlight in his future resume. At this very moment, the county's #1 official personally paid out of his own pocket to treat Xiaofeng to dinner, demonstrating absolute sincerity. He paid for it himself, no reimbursement. The significance was extraordinary. Of course, one thing was certain. Even if he paid out of his own pocket, the meal would not exceed 200 yuan, definitely not going over the standard. In 2010, in such a small county, 200 yuan for a meal for two was already not cheap. Good wine and good food were all present, and Xiaofeng naturally would not rush to pay the 200 yuan bill. Mainly, the significance was different. Moreover, since He Shuheng treated him this time, Xiaofeng would treat him back next time. Back and forth, their relationship would naturally become more solid. This friend must be made. The most crucial thing was that it was not whether Xiaofeng wanted to be friends, but that He Shuheng genuinely wanted to befriend Xiaofeng from the bottom of his heart. During dinner, He Shuheng further expressed his attitude. Xiao Feng, I know you're very busy, and your main battleground is in Zhengzhen City, but rest assured you can leave things here to me. If anything comes up, I will help you resolve it. I will keep an eye on things for you. Thanks, Brother Hang. I will toast you too. Xiao Feng also used tea instead of wine. Thank you for your continuous help and care. He Shuheng immediately said, How can this be called help? You are helping me. Without your 100 million investment, I would not know where to attract investment. In short, Xiao Feng, you and I are both still young. We have a long road ahead. From now on, we will be friends helping each other out. If you ever have any trouble or need help in Zhengzhen City in the future, call me. I might be able to help. He Shuheng's words were profound, that phrase. I might be able to help. Implied a lot of information. Zhengzhen City was a major metropolis logically. He Shuheng was only the #1 official in Baiyun County. If something happened in Zhengzhen City, it would be difficult for him to help, but since he dared to say so, he naturally had his reasons and confidence. Xiao Feng naturally understood, but did not deliberately probe further. All right, Brother Heng, please take good care of me in the future. It is not about taking care of you. We are friends, so it is just mutual help. And so, Xiao Feng spent another 5 days at home during his holiday. In 5 days, he thoroughly planned the progress again. Based on the current situation, before November 1st, the greenhouses could essentially enter the full planting stage. As for the processing plant and cold storage, they would take a bit longer to build. But there was no rush. After all, the fastest maturation period after sowing in the greenhouses was 20 days. By then, everything would be just right. As for the old family house, Xiao Feng also provided blueprints for a 2.5-story building based on later aesthetic tastes. A luxurious villa. In short, during the 5 days Xiao Feng was home, he was not idle for a single day. Ever since he was reborn, he truly had not rested for a single day, being busy every day. But it was also genuinely joyful. His assets were accumulating wildly. October 6th, Xiao Feng set off to return to Zhengzhen City, taking Li Jinian on a good tour of the city, visiting all the brand name bags and luxury goods stores. After all, money is meant to be spent. And to thank Xiao Feng, after returning home, Li Jinian naturally made Xiao Feng wash up thoroughly again. Wash twice. Wash thrice. Truly done for. And on the afternoon of October 6th, messages were once again posted in the class group chat. It was about booking a room at Lingyun Hotel, a large private room that could seat about 12-15 people. The minimum consumption for the room was 1888 yuan. The reservation time was 11 a.m., and everyone agreed to meet at the hotel tomorrow. Meanwhile, Lingyun Hotel. Inside the chairman's office, sounds of an argument could be heard. It was an argument between father and son. It was none other than Yang Qiwan, chairman of Lingyun Hotel, and his son, Yang Ning. Dad, why am I a prodigal son? Why am I not doing serious work? I am not your pet. I have dreams too. And I have explained to you before, 10 years from now, new energy will definitely be a trendsetter. Even if it is not the mainstream market, it will absolutely have a place. And the power battery I'm working on now will definitely have a market in the future. You sent me to study abroad for so many years. Was not it to broaden my horizons and make me see further? I'm telling you clearly now. I am absolutely going to pursue this new energy. As for this hotel, I won't be taking it over. You should quickly transfer it out. Sell the shares, I really do not have any money left. Yang Qiwan looked at his son with a dark expression. Look, listen to what you're saying. You have dreams. You have your own career. I do not object to that, but you are essentially squandering my family fortune now. Since you started your business working on this energy battery thing, how much money have you already invested? It is almost 40 million, is not it? Those 40 million have not yielded any results, and now you even want me to sell the hotel shares to continue investing in your startup. I have worked hard my whole life, and I only have about 200 or 300 million in assets. I am really afraid you will squander it all. Anyway, I am already old. If I keep a few million for myself, I will have a comfortable retirement. But what about you? If you squander all the family assets, you will be the one to suffer in the future. Yang Qiwan was both persuading and educating Yang Ning, telling him to think about his future. But Yang Ning had already made up his mind that he was definitely going to pursue this new energy. And he had already invested 40 million since starting the business. If he gave up now, those previous 40 million would truly be wasted. Dad, you are old, and your thinking is stuck in the past. What I'm doing now is a business opportunity for the future. You only see the immediate 40 million, but in the future. If it succeeds, it could be 4 billion, 40 billion. Just believe me. When he heard 40 billion, Yang Qiuan's heart skipped a beat. 40 billion. What if it really succeeded? Even if not 40 billion, what about 4 billion? Then the assets could increase tenfold. Are you serious? If it succeeds, it could reach several billion in the future. Oh, Dad. A flicker of determination flashed in Yang Ning's eyes. Maybe it could even exceed 100 billion. Upon hearing his son's grand ambitions, Yang Qiuan indeed hesitated. Yang Qiuan only had this one son. All this money was originally meant for him. Anyway, if he really lost it all, he would have no one to blame but himself, and he would suffer for it. But what if it succeeded? That would revitalize the family. Thinking of this, Yang Qiuan seemed to have made a certain decision, resolving to support his son. After all, I am his father. If even I do not support him, then who will? It is just money. Yang Qiuan gritted his teeth and stomped his foot. How much more money do you need? About 100 million. I do not have a son like you. Dad, trying to awaken paternal love. October 7th. Today is the last day of the holiday. The holiday is not important. What matters is that today is the class reunion, scheduled to gather at 11:30 a.m. at the hotel entrance. At 10 a.m., Zhang Yang rode his electric scooter to find Xiao Feng. Undoubtedly, he was there to borrow a car. Zhang Yang had already told Xiao Feng last week that he needed the car today for a date. Since Xiao Feng had already agreed, he naturally would not go back on his word. When Zhang Yang took the car keys, the corners of his mouth had not dropped once. Godfather, thanks. Do not worry. I will return the car to you as soon as I am done with it. Zhang Yang drove off in Xiao Feng's Panamera, leaving behind his exclusive ride, the electric scooter. This electric scooter is actually quite good, especially in Jiangjin City, where most commuters use electric vehicles. Xiao Feng happened to be attending the class reunion, and Lingyun Hotel was very close to Heitang Mansion. He could just ride it there. And so, Zhang Yang drove away in the Panamera, while Xiao Feng rode Zhang Yang's electric scooter to the class reunion. At the same time, people in the group chat had already started talking. Zhou Xiaofan, I am already at the hotel entrance. When are you guys coming? Wu Yutong, I will be there in 3 minutes. I'm almost there, too. Okay, we will wait for you at the hotel entrance, and then we will go in together. Qiao Yuki, has Xiao Feng arrived? Not yet. He is not going to not come, is he? Do not tease Qiao Yuki. She only came to this class reunion for Xiao Feng. Zhang Yu, do not worry. Xiao Feng will definitely come. I was his roommate for several years. He is a man of his word. If he says he will come, he will definitely come. Zhou Xiaofan, maybe the subway's backed up. Subway backed up. That is a damn accident. Ha ha ha, just kidding. When the scene shifted, Zhou Xiaofan and several others had arrived one after another at the entrance of Lingyun Hotel. Zhou Xiaofan, Wu Yutong, Zhao Ji, Li Dadong, Liu Haowen, Wu Feng, Jiang Yu, Xu Changlin. Among them, the most noticeable person was Zhou Xiaofan, wearing a colorful polo shirt, which was the most popular style at the time, with the collar deliberately flipped up. Paired with tight jeans and sneakers, he would occasionally glance at the large gold watch on his wrist. His show-off demeanor made anyone who did not know him think he was a nouveau riche. There was no hint that he was running a company and acting as a boss. But no one cared. They only knew that Zhou Xiaofan had started a company and made a lot of money, especially with that dazzling gold watch. It really gave off the impression that he had made money. When Wu Yutong saw Zhou Xiaofan, she enthusiastically went up and greeted him first. Xiaofan, long time no see. I feel like your demeanor has improved a lot. Wu Yutong's affected voice made Zhou Xiaofan quite enjoy it. Zhou Xiaofan glanced at his large gold watch again, pretending to check the time. It is all right. I have also been working out lately. Liu Haowen, standing nearby, looked at Zhou Xiaofan's large gold watch with envy. Fan Ji, that watch of yours must be quite expensive, right? This question hit Zhou Xiaofan right where he wanted it. Although the watch was fake, as long as everyone thought it was real, that was all that mattered. Zhou Xiaofan proudly showed off his gold watch again. You know your stuff, kid. This is an Omega Constellation full gold model. It is roughly a month's income for me. Damn. This watch costs 50 or 60,000. Everyone immediately cast envious glances. At this moment, Zhou Xiaofan was enjoying himself immensely. Even Li Dadong, who was standing by, was overshadowed by him. Li Dadong and Zhou Xiaofan were sworn enemies even after graduation. They would only exchange polite words in the group chat. But deep down, they were sick of each other. Mainly, both of them loved to show off. So whenever they were together, they would subtly and openly compete with each other. And yesterday, Li Dadong had also mentioned in the group chat that he was now running a company, specifically in advertising, and his income was quite good. But now, he was completely overshadowed by Zhou Xiaofan. Men, after all, are a bit competitive. Several female classmates were present today, and everyone wanted to save face in front of them. Ahem. Li Dadong lightly coughed, his tone a bit strange. Why is not Xiaofeng here yet? Could he have missed the subway? Does he not even have a car? As he spoke, Li Dadong intentionally or unintentionally pulled out a car key from his pocket. Once everyone saw the car key clearly, all eyes were instantly drawn to it. Damn, a BMW. It really is a BMW car key. Dongji, when did you buy a BMW? Did not I just see you arrive in a taxi? Ahem. A hint of embarrassment flashed in Li Dadong's eyes. Ah, well, the car was sent to the Ford store for maintenance today, so I just took a taxi. Oh, someone next to him, a serious-faced sycophant, nodded, so it was sent for maintenance. By the way, Dongji, how much did you pay for this BMW? Not expensive. Li Dadong said nonchalantly, a 3 Series, fully paid, it was only 350,000. As soon as he said this time, all eyes were completely drawn to Li Dadong. Holy crap, 350,000 Dongji. How much does your advertising company earn in a year then? Yeah, anyone who can afford this car usually has a net worth of several million. Everyone was praising him a bit too much. Li Dadong himself was starting to feel overwhelmed. This car key of his, actually, it was just a lighter. A very good imitation. Originally, Li Dadong just wanted to show off a little, but everyone was saying that anyone who could drive this car must have a net worth of several million, which was indeed a bit too much of a boast. Li Dadong quickly laughed. It is not that exaggerated. I only earn less than 100,000 a month, and besides, I only paid the down payment, the rest is on installment. That is still awesome, Wu Feng exclaimed excitedly. It is a BMW, after all, imagine how cool it would be to drive it around. Oh, come on. Li Dadong also put on a look of having seen the world. It is just a BMW 3 Series, not worth mentioning. The bosses of the advertising agencies I work with, some drive 7 Series, some drive Big Benz, and some even drive Porsche Panameras. So my BMW 3 Series is really not worth mentioning. Not worth mentioning. Li Dadong's words truly shocked everyone. The crowd nearby became even more excited when they heard the words Panamera. Damn, a Panamera. That is a true luxury car. Dongji, your company is doing so well that your partners even drive Panameras. Oh my god. Anyone who can drive a Panamera must have a net worth of at least 30 million. Right? Dongji can actually interact with people worth 30 million. Li Dadong was so flattered he could not back down, so he continued to speak, riding on everyone's words. It is all right. Just business partners, we cooperate with each other and occasionally have meals together. Amazing to be able to sit at the same table and eat with someone worth 30 million. I am so envious. Sigh. When will I be as successful as Dongji, able to sit and eat with someone worth 30 million? Do not even think about it. It will be hard for us to catch up to Dongji in this lifetime. Dadong, just then, Wu Yutong from the side also came over. Her voice even more affected than before. Even in school, I always felt you were different. Undoubtedly, Li Dadong had maximized his face at this moment, but precisely because Li Dadong had maximized his face, a flicker of anger crossed Zhou Xiaofan's brow. Damn it, this Li Dadong, I disliked him even back in school. Now, he is stealing my thunder again. We really are sworn enemies. The key is, I really can't outshine him. From what he is saying, this guy might actually be running an advertising company. I am so mad. Not only did he steal my thunder, but even my goddess Wu Yutong praised him. If it were not for the fact that he is actually rich, I would have to curse him out. That dog, always having to steal my thunder. Zhou Xiaofan was incredibly upset inside, but he could only curse in his mind. People like him can already discuss cooperation with those who drive Panameras and dine with people worth 30 million. Zhou Xiaofan dared not provoke him. Consequently, he could only sulk and curse inwardly. But the more he thought about it, the angrier he got. Ahem! This time, Zhou Xiaofan fiercely flicked the large gold watch on his wrist, again pretending to check the time. That is strange. It is almost 11:30. Why is not Xiaofeng here yet? Yeah. Li Dadong also seemed a bit anxious. Could this guy really be stuck in a subway jam? Beep, beep. Just then, Xiaofeng, riding an electric scooter and wearing a helmet, arrived at the entrance of Lingyun Hotel. At the entrance of large hotels, there is usually an open area. To enter the hotel premises, one must first pass through a boom barrier, which is the movable pole at the entrance. Xiaofeng's electric scooter honked twice, signaling the security guard to lift the boom barrier. The security guard at the entrance asked a symbolic question. What are you here for? To eat. Oh, then he lifted the boom barrier without any obstruction at all. Xiaofeng could not help but wonder, they did not stop me. But on second thought, this is not a novel. It is quite normal to ride an electric scooter to a 5-star hotel for a meal. After all, the hotel itself hosts wedding banquets, company gatherings, and so on. It is perfectly normal for people to even ride bicycles there. At the same time, Zhou Xiaofan and the others were all at the hotel entrance, bored while waiting. Seeing the scene with the electric scooter, they could not help but casually laugh and tease. No one recognized that it was Xiaofeng, so their teasing was unrestrained. Look at that guy, riding an electric scooter to a 5-star hotel for a meal. But I have to say, this person at least knows to wear a helmet. Quite civilized. Is that being civilized? Is not there a very popular topic online that says wearing a helmet on an electric scooter is not for civilization or safety, but rather, it is because they are afraid of being recognized by classmates driving BMWs. That is why they wear helmets. Ha ha ha, I have seen that topic online too. Dying of laughter. It really fits life. Holy crap. Xiaofeng. Holy crap, it really is Xiaofeng. When Xiaofeng took off his helmet, all the classmates present saw clearly it was indeed Xiaofeng. For a moment, everyone was extremely surprised. Actually, it was normal for someone who had just graduated from university to ride an electric scooter. The reason for everyone's surprise was mainly because everyone had just been making fun of it. For example, they were saying that wearing a helmet while riding an electric scooter was to avoid being recognized by classmates driving BMWs. And now, it seemed that prediction had just materialized. Xiaofeng happened to ride over on an electric scooter with a helmet, and as a result, nobody recognized him, and they casually teased him a few times. The one driving the BMW was Li Dadong. Everything had just lined up perfectly. Everything had just happened to coincide. This led to a moment of awkwardness for everyone, primarily because they had just been making snide remarks. Fortunately, Xiaofeng had not heard any of it. After seeing Xiaofeng arrive, everyone immediately started greeting him. However, among those greeting him, some were sincere, while others were sarcastic and passive-aggressive. They seemed to be joking, but their words clearly revealed their sense of superiority. Xiaofeng, long time no see. You are still as handsome as ever. Zhang Yu and Xu Changlin greeted him. Long time no see, Xiaofeng replied politely. Yo, Zhou Xiaofan chimed in immediately. Is not this Brother Feng, the campus heartthrob from back in the day? Why are you still riding a scooter here? You should at least take a taxi. Otherwise, it will ruin your campus heartthrob image. Zhou Xiaofan said it with a smile, making it seem like a joke, but in reality, it was very unpleasant to hear. Li Dadong, standing beside him, also immediately added, "Yeah, riding an electric scooter is so dangerous. You should at least spend 100,000 or 80,000 to buy a car for commuting. That thing is not expensive." At that moment, Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong's words were dripping with sarcasm and passive aggression. It was not that they were specifically targeting Xiaofeng. They were purely trying to put others down to boost their own sense of superiority. These two guys usually tried to put anyone down, and they never missed an opportunity to show off a little. Facing Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong's sarcastic jabs, Xiaofeng did not take it seriously. He casually replied, "I have a car. I just lent it to a friend today." P.F. Li Dadong let out a laugh. "Oh, Xiaofeng, if you do not have a car, just say so. We are classmates. We won't laugh at you. But insisting you lent it to a friend, that excuse is too far-fetched." "Exactly," Zhou Xiaofan added earnestly. "And you do not need to feel inferior. If you do not have a car, I do not have one either. I mainly do not need a car usually. Plus, I just bought a watch last month for 60 or 70,000. Besides, as the saying goes, the poor play with cars, the rich play with watches. I personally prefer watches." Xiaofeng looked at Li Dadong and Zhou Xiaofan with a dark expression. Li Dadong was the only one among this group of classmates who had bought a car after graduation, and his current persona was that he drove a BMW. So this guy was flaunting his BMW again and again. What was truly dramatic, however, was Zhou Xiaofan. Although he did not have a car, he kept showing off his big gold watch. The crucial part was that he always ended with something like, "The poor play with cars, the rich play with watches." You should at least have a car before spouting that nonsense, right? However, Zhou Xiaofan's words did not affect Xiaofeng at all. Instead, they utterly disgusted Li Dadong beside him. Li Dadong gritted his teeth and glared resentfully at Zhou Xiaofan. "What the hell are you showing off for? You just bought a 60,000 yuan watch. What are you acting like? It might even be a fake watch. And you still have to put me down. The poor play with cars, the rich play with watches. Go play with your mom." Damn it. Meanwhile, Xiaofeng did not care about what they were saying. He had, in fact, completely tuned them out, because Xiaofeng's CPU was about to burn out. Due to the conversation between Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong, labels also appeared above their heads. And their information labels, Xiaofeng could see them crystal clear. After seeing their labels clearly, Xiaofeng was stunned for a few seconds, and then he wore a dark expression. For a moment, Xiaofeng almost fainted. Goddamn advertising companies. You two call this running an advertising company. Handling advertising business. No. It could not be said that it was not advertising at all. Xiaofeng was also greatly disappointed. The main reason he had come to this alumni gathering was for potential business opportunities. After all, in Xiaofeng's mind, both of them were running advertising companies and making money. If Xiaofeng were to grow big and strong, he could monopolize the Jiangjin city market and earn even more. But now, everything he had planned had turned to dust. The advertising these two were doing, it could be considered advertising business. But Xiaofeng really could not do that kind of work. This alumni gathering felt like a wasted trip. But as a Chinese person, the ingrained mentality was, since you are already here, Xiaofeng naturally was not going to leave. Eating a meal would not take too long. Besides, his two old roommates, Zhang Yu and Xu Changlin, were there. It would be nice to catch up over a meal. Just then, Qiao Yuqi, taking a taxi, also pulled up to the hotel entrance. Today, Qiao Yuqi was dressed exceptionally beautifully, wearing a white long dress, looking even more radiant than when she was in school. She was also very tall, around 1.7 meters. Today, she was wearing a pair of 10 centimeters high heels, making her look about 1.8 meters. "Sorry, I'm a little late," Qiao Yuqi greeted them, then looked at Xiaofeng. "Long time no see, Xiaofeng." "Yes, long time no see," Xiaofeng replied politely. Upon seeing Qiao Yuqi, the other male classmates, especially the single ones, were quite envious and even more jealous of Xiaofeng. Such a beautiful Qiao Yuqi. and Xiao Feng had not pursued her. But it was not entirely Xiao Feng's fault. It was mainly because Li Jinian was even more beautiful and had a better personality. And Qiao Yuqi always gave off a cold, aloof aura, a vibe that made people keep their distance. Of course, ultimately, Xiao Feng simply did not like that kind of personality. But one thing was certain, Xiao Feng always treated Qiao Yuqi with absolute respect and never made her feel awkward. As everyone had arrived, they proceeded to the pre-booked private room on the 3rd floor. Room 301 had a floor-to-ceiling window, offering a view of the outside scenery. It was nice to enjoy the view while dining. However, there was not much of a view. They could see the open space in front of the hotel at a glance. And next to the open space, Xiao Feng's previously parked electric scooter was visible. "This view is quite good," Li Dadong said, still with that joking tone. "It is perfect for seeing Xiao Feng's electric scooter. So we do not have to worry about the battery getting stolen after dinner." It seemed like a simple joke, but he was actually conveying information to Qiao Yuqi. Xiao Feng rode here on an electric scooter, but he himself had a BMW. Qiao Yuqi was considered the most beautiful among all the female classmates today. For someone like Li Dadong who loved to show off, he naturally had to flaunt his BMW, both openly and subtly. After speaking, everyone also took their seats. Xiao Feng sat a bit further inside, and Qiao Yuqi intentionally sat right next to him. The others sat wherever they pleased. And Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong also happened to sit together. These two sworn rivals ended up right next to each other. Both of them loved to show off they were quite a match. "Waiter, order food." The minimum spend for the room was 1888 yuan. Today, a total of 10 people came, and they ordered about 2,300 yuan worth of food. The price was much more expensive than before, because if calculated this way, today there were 3 girls and 7 boys. If the boys went Dutch, each person would have to pay an average of 328 yuan. It was a bit over budget, but everyone wanted to save face, so they all said it was fine, and the price was not expensive. During the meal, as it was a class reunion, they naturally talked about their recent situations, especially Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong, who almost dominated the scene, constantly displaying their superiority. And there were always people who believed that what they showed was true, showering them with flattery. "Brother Dong, among our classmates, you are doing the best now. After all, you are driving a BMW. Can you share some tips for success?" Li Dadong's lips curled slightly upwards, and he casually showed off his car keys, posing as a successful person. "If you ask me, success is inseparable from hard work. Everything I have now is earned through effort. If I had not worked hard and strived for progress, I would not be driving this BMW 3 Series. Everything today is what I have fought for." "Dadong, you must be working very hard, right?" Wu Yutong asked in a coquettish voice. Li Dadong nodded. "It is a bit tough, but when it comes to making money, who is not struggling?" This successful persona made everyone believe it was real more and more as they watched. Only Xiao Feng kept holding it in, almost getting internal injuries from suppressing himself. Xiao Feng truly did not want to expose them mainly. It was like watching a play now, and he found it very interesting. Meanwhile, Zhou Xiaofan, next to Li Dadong, had been overshadowed all day and was quite unhappy. But helplessly, Zhou Xiaofan also thought Li Dadong was genuinely rich, so he could not compare to Li Dadong. But since he could not compare to Li Dadong, he would just pick on someone else. At this moment, he happened to hear Zhang Yu and Xu Changlin complaining that good jobs were hard to find, and they still had not started working, even though it had been over 3 months since graduation. It was not that they could not find a job, but that they could not find a good job they liked, which were 2 different things. And when he heard that some people did not even have jobs, Zhou Xiaofan seized the opportunity. "Huh." Zhou Xiaofan feigned surprise. "Zhang Yu, Xu Changlin, you two still do not have jobs. That is really pitiful for you two." Zhang Yu and Xu Changlin were originally chatting with Xiao Feng and did not want to bother with Zhou Xiaofan, but being asked like that in public, they had to respond. Zhang Yu retorted testily, "So what? It is not like no company wants us, we just have not found a good job. Besides, if all else fails, we are planning to go to Modu, so do not you worry about us." Zhou Xiaofan chuckled. Oh, look at what you're saying. I am just kindly asking and showing concern for an old classmate, you know. Of course, as old classmates, if you really can't find a job someday, or can't make ends meet, you can come work at my company. Zhou Xiaofan saying these words at a class reunion was really putting the other party on the spot. Moreover, Zhou Xiaofan knew very well that Jiang Yu and Xu Changlin would never actually go to work at his company. But he just had to say it to show off his superiority. Emph! Jiang Yu snorted disdainfully, no longer bothering with him, and continued chatting with Xiaofeng again. They talked about past events from when they lived in the same dorm during college. To put it bluntly, neither Jiang Yu nor Xu Changlin could be bothered to deal with Zhou Xiaofan. The best way to retaliate was to ignore the other party, treat them like air, and not even bother to respond. But precisely because of this, Zhou Xiaofan felt humiliated. At least I am a boss now. It is fine that Li Dadong overshadowed me. You two do not even have jobs, yet you treat me with such disrespect. It infuriates me. Meanwhile, during their conversation, Xiao Feng also learned that Jiang Yu and Xu Changlin had not found suitable jobs yet. These two were his roommates. In college, they were not exactly best buddies, but they were definitely friends. In his previous life, these two also had not found good jobs they liked. Later, they both went to Modu. Half a year later, Xiao Feng did contact them once and returned their money. Not much, just 1,000 yuan each. Because at that time, they did not have jobs, and after learning that Xiao Feng's girlfriend, Li Jinian, was sick, each of them gave Xiao Feng 1,000 yuan. Although it was not much, it was a kind gesture. Xiao Feng had always remembered it. And after hearing that the two did not have jobs, Xiao Feng quickly calculated in his mind. Leaving aside other things, these two and Xiao Feng had the same academic background, all from a 211 university. Even though it was currently 2010, finding a job for 5,000 yuan a month was not an issue. Anything below 5,000 would not be considered. And with a few years of work experience, getting 7,000 yuan was also not a problem, just like Li Jinian. How about this? Jiang Yu, old Zhu. If you two still can't find good jobs you like, before you go to Madu, you can come check out my company first. My company's benefits are quite good. The monthly base salary is 15,000. If you two are willing to stay, I would be very happy to have you. And with your academic qualifications, the company also needs talents like you. There are many tasks you can handle as soon as you start. Xiao Feng's voice was not loud, but all the classmates present could hear him clearly. However, everyone's first reaction was not surprise, but rather, they found it a bit amusing. Because after hearing it, everyone instinctively misunderstood that Xiao Feng was also working for that company. This kind of colloquialism is also normal. For example, come to our company. Our company has good benefits. Workers often say this when recommending friends to the company they work for. Ha! Zhou Xiaofan was the first to speak. Xiao Feng, what are you talking about? That is not your company. Do you think you're the boss? You can just let a classmate join without an interview? Besides, I do not think I misheard. Did I? 15,000 for starting in a month? Is your company boss out of his mind? Exactly. Li Dadong on the side could not help but taunt Xiao Feng. You yourself only earn 5,000 yuan a month, and then you tell your classmates that they can get 15,000 at the company you work for. Do you even believe that yourself? Anyone who did not know would think you are the boss of that company. Ha ha ha. A few classmates nearby also burst out laughing. Xiao Feng's expression was calm, and his tone was unhurried. Is there a possibility that I actually am the boss of this company? PFST. Zhou Xiaofan could not help but snicker. Xiao Feng, you have not gotten delusions, have you? You are the company boss. I remember very clearly that a few months after graduation, you posted on your QQ space saying you found a new job. Just started, and it was 5,000 yuan a month. Oh, right. You even specifically included an image with the post at that time, with text saying something like, the outcome is undecided. You are but a beast of burden. For a moment, Xiao Feng was indeed a tiny bit embarrassed, because Xiao Feng had indeed posted that update when he first started working. But in the current year of 2010, this kind of social media update was not actually considered chunibyo. It was even quite motivational. It is just that. As a reborn person, Xiao Feng, after being reborn, saw this Chunibyo post and immediately set it to private or hidden it. But he did not expect Zhou Xiaofan to still remember that post and bring it up in public. The main thing was, he did not even say it correctly. Xiao Feng had clearly posted at the time. The outcome is undecided. You and I are both dark horses. But in Zhou Xiaofan's mouth, it became, God damn it, I am just a beast of burden. If Xiao Feng had not been reborn, this would truly have become a self-fulfilling prophecy. In his previous life, Xiao Feng was absolutely a beast of burden, especially Jiangjin City, which in later generations was even known as the City of Beasts of Burden. Even the subway stations were jokingly referred to as Beast of Burden Transfer Stations, and the subway itself was called the Beast of Burden Conveyor Belt. This was also one of Jiangjin City's characteristics. After hearing Zhou Xiaofan and Lai Dadong's public verbal mockery just now, Xiao Feng was not angry instead. He seemed a bit surprised. Ha ha! I did not expect you to remember an update I posted months ago, even the caption. So clearly, are you two really that focused on me? Zhou Xiaofan awkwardly scratched his head for a moment, forcing an explanation. Oh, that is just how I am. I care about my old classmates' recent situations. Right. Li Dadong echoed, me too. I also care about old classmates. Oh, Xiao Feng nodded to himself, speaking of which, I am quite concerned about you two as well. I heard your advertising company has been having some issues recently, always getting messed with. Is that true? As soon as they heard Xiao Feng's words, Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong both frowned simultaneously. Because regardless of whether Xiao Feng truly knew what they were doing, one thing was certain, they did seem to be getting messed with by others recently. What do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean? For a moment, both Zhou Xiaofan and Lai Dadong were a bit bewildered and also a bit panicked. Xiao Feng picked up his wine glass and took a leisurely sip. Do not ask me. You two can ask each other what kind of advertising business the other is actually doing, and you will know. For a moment, everyone's eyes in the entire venue turned to Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong, each person's face filled with questions. Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong, on the other hand, were even more bewildered, yet they had a persistent feeling that Xiao Feng really did know something. Because Xiao Feng had just said very clearly that they had both been targeted a lot recently. And the truth was indeed, as Xiao Feng had said, their company's business had been very difficult lately. It was true that both of them had opened a small company. But it was not like they said that they could earn 50 or 60,000 or even 100,000 a month. The truth was, not only were they not making money, but they were actually losing it. Facing Xiao Feng's words, Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong could not help but look at each other. Both were half believing and half doubting, and their eyes held a hint of hostility. The main reason was that they had always been rivals. They competed with each other when they were in school, both liking to pretend to be big shots. As a result, both of them found the other annoying. But then they thought, logically, the other person would not specifically target them, right? Besides, the other person did not even know what kind of business they were actually doing. Zhou Xiaofan frowned tightly. Li Dadong, you? What exactly does your company do? Is it advertising? Facing Zhou Xiaofan's question, Li Dadong's gaze clearly darted away. Currently, both of them mistakenly thought the other was doing well. Li Dadong thought Zhou Xiaofan truly earned 50 or 60,000 a month. And Zhou Xiaofan, in turn, mistakenly thought Li Dadong's car key was real and that he could earn 100,000 a month. As a result, both of them currently did not know the other's true situation, and both were afraid of being exposed by the other. Li Dadong choked for a moment, his gaze shifting, well, it is advertising business, related to advertising. The rest is not convenient to say, it is a trade secret. Again, using trade secret as an excuse. After giving the excuse, Li Dadong even retorted, Zhou Xiaofan, then what does your company do? Is it really an advertising-related business too? Zhou Xiaofan's gaze also darted away, his tone clearly not as confident as before. Yes, it is an advertising-related business, also a trade secret. Did not know what kind of advertising they actually did, constantly talking about trade secrets. After both finished speaking, they once again turned their gaze to Xiao Feng. Zhou Xiaofan was the first to speak again. Xiao Feng. What did you mean by what you just said? Can you make it clearer? You're making people completely confused. Zhou Xiaofan's attitude was not good, full of hostility. Ha! Xiao Feng still had a relaxed expression. It is not that I did not make it clear, it is that neither of you spoke the truth to each other, so naturally you would not understand. This sentence from Xiao Feng once again piqued everyone's curiosity. Xiao Feng, are you saying they are not in advertising? It is all a lie, Wu Yutong asked with a frown. Before Xiao Feng could speak, Zhou Xiaofan was clearly getting anxious. He was terrified of being exposed. Once exposed, he would lose face in front of the goddess Wu Yutong. Yutong, do not listen to Xiao Feng talking nonsense. What does he know? He does not even know where my company is, let alone what kind of advertisements my company handles. So, he is clearly just talking nonsense and being mysterious. Exactly. Li Dadong immediately added, Xiao Feng is probably jealous, seeing that we both opened companies. That is why he deliberately badmouths us. And what I said is true. I really do work in advertising-related business. With their strenuous explanations and denials, more classmates naturally believed Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong. After all, they were wearing large gold watches and had a BMW car key. Their credibility was naturally higher. For a moment, some classmates even stood up to defend them. Xiao Feng, Lu Wenhao said, appearing to be very knowledgeable, it is not that I am lecturing you, but we are all classmates. You do not need to be like this. I know you feel bad seeing Dadong and Xiaofan doing well, but what you just said, how is that any different from a divisive scheme? You clearly know they are in the same line of work, and you suddenly say they are messing with each other, making them mutually suspicious. Are not you intentionally causing trouble? Exactly, Xiao Feng. Why have you become like this now? Have not you heard the saying, jealousy makes people ugly? Then you are so ugly. Who are you jealous of? Just then, Zhang Yu retorted somewhat indignantly. For a moment, the atmosphere at this class reunion was quite tense. It was divided into two factions. One side leaned more towards Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong. These people were fence-sitters. They only sided with whoever had money. The other side naturally believed Xiao Feng more, thinking that Xiao Feng would not speak idly without reason. But whether it was idle talk or not, this ignited the anger of Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong. Fearing exposure, they naturally retaliated relentlessly. Zhou Xiaofan once again flaunted his large gold watch. Xiao Feng, I know you're jealous inside, although you were better than me when we were in school. Now, you really are not as good as me. That is a fact. Of course, I, Zhou Xiaofan, am not a petty person. Apologize to me, and this matter will be over. Right. Right? Right. Li Dadong also followed. Xiao Feng, I am not a stingy person either. Just apologize to me and it is fine. If you can't bring yourself to say it, just toast me with a drink, and this matter will be settled. The two of them, playing off each other, acted very convincingly. Xiao Feng quietly watched the two of them perform. I have to say, you two really are sworn enemies. What do you mean? Yeah, explain it clearly. No need. If I really explain it clearly, I'm afraid you two will be very embarrassed, Xiao Feng said with a strange tone. At this point, Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong also completely lost their composure. Xiao Feng, come on, say it. Whatever you have to say, do not hide it. Exactly, just say whatever you have to say. No need to save face for us. I would like to hear what you can come up with. The two, fueled by anger, went all out. Zhou Xiaofan continued to put it plainly. You are just green with envy, hatred, and jealousy. You think I'm better than you? This watch on my wrist alone is enough for you to work for a year. Li Dadong also seized the opportunity to interject. Indeed, to put it plainly, see this car key, this BMW of mine is enough for you to work for 5 years. Zhou Xiaofan shot a resentful glance at Li Dadong beside him. Damn it, at this time, he still had to one-up me again. And among the classmates present, there were always a few fence-sitters. These fence-sitters would always side with whoever had more money. Among them, Wu Feng was the most obvious fence-sitter. Not only was he a fence-sitter, but he also had a slanted fringe. Every time before speaking, he would first flick his flowing slanted fringe, which suited his fence-sitter identity very well. Xiao Feng, just apologize to them. After all, they are richer and more capable than you. You deliberately incited them just now. You really should apologize. Besides, they are right. Xiao Fan's gold watch is enough for you to work for a year, and Dadong's car is enough for you to work for 5 years. What can you compare with them? Oh, and speaking of Dadong, I must emphasize one more thing that you did not hear when you were not here. You know, the clients Li Dadong's advertising company deals with are all owners of BMW 7 Series and Mercedes-Benz cars. Even more exaggerated, some even drive Porsche Panameras. That is a Panamera. People who can afford that are worth at least 30 million. Dadong can already sit and have dinner with people worth 30 million. What can you compare with him? What if you really provoke Dadong? He might use his resources to blacklist you, for example, by contacting your boss and getting you fired. So Xiao Feng, listen to my advice, just apologize. Wu Feng, this fence-sitter, seemed to be advising, but his words, both explicit and implicit, were practically praising Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong to the heavens. The two guys also felt a secret thrill listening. All right, Xiao Feng picked up his wine glass and drank it in one gulp. Since you two insist that I speak, then I will. Come on, let us hear it, Zhou Xiaofan provoked, still oblivious. You? Zhou Xiaofan indeed opened a company related to advertising business, but do not call it a trade secret. It is nothing more than posting small, illegal advertisements. Everyone do not be surprised yet. Let us talk about you, Li Dadong. I have to commend you first. Your company is quite conscientious, acting as the city's cleaner. The business it handles is specifically responsible for clearing away small advertisements. A city cleaner, thumbs up for you. You are more admirable than Zhou Xiaofan. For a moment, everyone in the entire venue had faces full of questions. It took about 15 seconds after Xiao Feng finished speaking, and the whole place was still silent, staring blankly at each other with wide eyes. They looked at me. I looked at you, as if they had not recovered from the shock at all. As for Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong, the two of them were completely dumbfounded now, their fig leaves completely torn off. Because what Xiao Feng just said was indeed the truth, without any deviation. First, Zhou Xiaofan, after graduating, indeed opened a small company and hired a few people specifically to post small advertisements. Do not underestimate this small advertisement business. Under normal circumstances, it can indeed earn 20 to 30,000 a month. Currently, it is a small boom period. Even if Zhou Xiaofan only hired 3 people and was just starting out, a rough estimate would be at least 20,000 yuan per month. If he could earn 20,000 yuan a month, that would be several times better than Zhou Xiaofan working for someone else. After all, this business is considered a semi-legal gray area with a bit of a side hustle, so the earnings are naturally higher than working for others. It was precisely for this reason that Zhou Xiaofan chose to do this. Opening a small company and earning 20 to 30,000 yuan a month was definitely better than working for others. However, that was just an assumption. In reality, he was already losing money. As for why he was losing money, this brings us to Li Dadong. After graduating, Li Dadong also opened a small company. The company was also not large in scale, and he hired temporary workers every day. His daily job was to clean up the small advertisements in designated areas, because those advertisements not only affected the city's appearance, but were also indeed a bit illegal. After cleaning each area, Li Dadong would receive corresponding remuneration. Under normal circumstances, he could earn about 20 to 30,000 yuan a month. 20 to 30,000 yuan would also be much better than working for others. And he himself hardly had to do any work, only responsible for securing more business. But he was always being messed with, because every time Li Dadong sent people to clean up the small advertisements, when the person in charge of inspection checked, the result was that the walls were damn full of small advertisements again. Therefore, he could not get paid in such cases. If he could not get paid, his company naturally lost money. The same was true for Zhou Xiaofan. Every time he finished posting small advertisements, the client would also send people to check. But every time the client went to check, they found that there were no advertisements on the wall at all, and they would not pay. This resulted in both Zhou Xiaofan's and Li Dadong's companies not making money, back and forth. It often resulted in doing work for nothing. One side just finished posting, and before it could be checked, it was already cleaned off. The other side just finished cleaning, and before it could be checked, it was all posted up again. It was like the law of conservation of energy. That is why Xiao Feng almost fainted when he saw the entry earlier. These two guys were indeed sworn enemies. It was not until 15 seconds later that Zhang Yu was the first to speak. Holy crap, no way. So you two, your advertising business that you kept talking about is just one posting small ads and the other tearing them down. With this kind of business, you both kept talking about trade secrets. Anyone hearing it would think it was some huge deal. And can this business really earn 50 to 60,000 a month? It was at this moment that Wu Yutong also spoke. Her eyes were only on money. Her voice was no longer coquettish, but rather questioning with a condescending tone. Zhou Xiaofan, honestly tell me, how much do you really earn per month? Wu Yutong only cared about this one point. Faced with Wu Yutong's persistent questioning, Zhou Xiaofan stammered for a long time. 50 to 60,000 maybe. Upon hearing 50 to 60,000, Wu Yutong's expression immediately softened considerably. After all, what he did was not important. The important thing was that he could really make money. 50 to 60,000, that is not bad. Wu Yutong's voice turned coquettish again. You do not need to be inferior. In this society now, making money means you are capable. Wu Yutong actually started comforting him. The attitudes of the others also shifted again after hearing about 50 to 60,000. Most people are the type who laugh at poverty, but not at vice. If he really earned 50 to 60,000 a month, who cared what he did? You're talking nonsense. Li Dadong could not stand it anymore. Zhou Xiaofan, I also wanted to do the small advertisement posting business before, but I inquired, and after deducting labor costs, you really can't earn that much. If you could really earn 50 to 60,000 a month, I would have done it long ago. Stop bragging here. Hearing this, Wu Yutong frowned again. She was genuinely concerned and really wanted to know the truth. Whether her voice was cute or not completely depended on the other person's income. Zhou Xiaofan, Wu Yutong's tone became serious again. If you still like me, then do not lie to me. How much do you really earn per month? I want to hear the truth. Zhou Xiaofan fidgeted, and after a long pause, blurted out 50 to 60,000 maybe. Wu Yutong's face instantly fell, showing clear disgust, not even bothering to pretend anymore. Then you just told me you earned 50 to 60,000 a month. Are you sick? How dare you lie to me? I did not lie to you. Zhou Xiaofan tried desperately to explain. You were the one who told me to multiply by 10 to tell you, so I multiplied by 10. Wu Yutong was speechless. Do you think you are funny? I told you to tell me honestly, not to multiply by 10, you idiot. After speaking, Wu Yutong moved her chair to the left with both hands. Her face was full of disgust, not even willing to sit next to Zhou Xiaofan anymore. However, this was not over yet. The most annoyed person at this moment was undoubtedly Li Dadong. Li Dadong had now completely realized, Zhou Xiaofan, I will ask you one question. In which area does your company usually operate for posting small advertisements? Zhou Xiaofan was also very angry at this moment because he seemed to have realized it too. Zhou Xiaofan retorted impatiently. I want to ask you too, which area are you in? I'm in the Old Town area of Longtian. Damn, motherfucker. It matches. I'm also in the Old Town area of Longtian. Zhou Xiaofan, fuck your ancestor. Li Dadong immediately lost his composure and swore violently. No wonder every time I sent people to clean up the advertisements, they were immediately plastered again the next day. The key is, they were always posted at night, and every time the inspectors checked the next day and found them plastered, they would not pay me. So it turns out, it was all you're doing, Zhou Xiaofan. I want to fucking kill you. Zhou Xiaofan was also full of rage. Damn it. Li Dadong, shut your fucking mouth. I want to kill you too. I painstakingly sent people to post small advertisements, and as soon as they were done, Before the clients could even check, they were all cleaned off, leaving me with no money. So it was because of you that the clients never paid me, causing my company to lose money, you motherfucker. I fuck your ancestor. Your mother's kiss. I fuck. For a moment, Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong completely disregarded their image and began to curse each other in front of everyone. The two had been rivals since school, constantly competing. After graduating, they thought they would not be in contact anymore, but it turned out that fate. The two had been secretly battling each other. The crucial part was, they were both losing money because of each other, coupled with the fact that they had long disliked each other, fueled by their rage. They had completely fallen out, and the others at the table were stunned by this scene at this moment. Half a minute ago, both of them were successful individuals running companies, but now it was all exposed. And in the details, they exposed each other themselves. For a moment, the other classmates did not even try to break up the fight. They all watched as if watching a show. Especially that classmate Wu Feng, who had been the most obsequious before. Now that he knew the truth, he seemed overjoyed, constantly flipping his favorite side-swept bangs. Ha ha ha. All right, stop arguing, you two. You are all classmates. But to be honest, this is quite dramatic for you two. Novels would not dare to write something like this. It is too coincidental. Ha ha ha. Speaking of which, I remember you two liked to compete when you were in school, and now, it is such a coincidence. What do you call this? This is called quantum entanglement. Ha ha. Wu Feng's words also amused the others at the table. They were all saying they were trying to break up the fight, but not a single one actually got up to stop them. Not only did he not try to break them up, but after teasing them, Wu Feng flipped his bangs and took out a cigarette. He wanted to light it and watch slowly. Huh? Wu Feng patted his pocket. Where's my lighter? Does anyone have a lighter I can borrow? Xiao Feng gestured with his chin towards the car key on the table where Li Dadong was sitting. Dadong has a lighter? Xiao Feng reminded him. Huh, does not he smoke? Where did he get a lighter? As Wu Feng was confused, he flipped his favorite flowing bangs again. Following Xiao Feng's subtle gesture, his gaze shifted to the car key Li Dadong had placed on the table. Wu Feng then picked up the car key on the table and saw a button on it. The button on this car key looked strange. Wu Feng flipped his bangs again, frowned, and leaned closer. Under everyone's gaze. Click! The car key did not pop out a key, but it did pop out a flame. With a whirring sound, the flame shot straight up. Oh shit, my bangs. My bangs. I finally managed to grow them out. Is not this a car key? How did it become a lighter? I am really effing speechless, my bangs. For a moment, the most devastated person in the entire room became Wu Feng. He was truly devastated. In the current decade, guys in their 20s value their bangs more than their lives. Because having bangs meant it was a symbol of handsomeness, especially when you tossed them back or blew on them with your mouth. It was incredibly stylish. But now, following the flame that popped out just now, a spark can start a prairie fire, mercilessly scorching his original side, swept bangs into a concave shape, all the way down to his scalp. Devastation, anger, absurdity, all emotions surged out at once. Li Dadong, are you effing trying to die? You pretended with that lighter for ages. Pay for my bangs. Wu Feng would not humor Li Dadong anymore. He knew all of Li Dadong's previous claims were false. His company did not make money, and the so-called BMW 3 Series was just a car key-shaped lighter. And a fence-sitter like him, who only curried favor with the influential, would feel a desire for revenge when he found out the other person was not even as good as him. Seizing this opportunity, he harshly cursed Li Dadong. Meanwhile, Li Dadong was still busy trading insults with Zhou Xiaofan and had no mind to pay attention to Wu Feng. All of a sudden, the once orderly class reunion seemed to have devolved into a complete mess. But chaos aside, only 3 people's emotions were affected. After all, everyone else just treated it as a show. From time to time, someone would occasionally pretend to mediate. Oh, come on! That is enough! Stop arguing, everyone's old classmates. Ha 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 ha! Really? Stop arguing. Yeah, we are classmates. Let us all take a step back. Take a step back. What about my bangs then? I painstakingly grew out this J. Cho-style haircut. You should look on the bright side, even though your bangs are gone. Now that they have been singed off, you have a very distinguished look, like a Manchu prince. It would have been better if they had not tried to persuade him with that persuasion. Wu Feng became even more agitated. Li Da Dong, you effer. The class reunion had turned into a cursing party. Meanwhile, when Zhou Xiaofan learned that the key was a lighter, his entire demeanor changed. Damn, La Da Dong, you really know how to put on an act. Coming to a class reunion and deliberately bringing a key-shaped lighter. The most disgusting part is you said your car was sent for maintenance. Maintenance my ass. Zhou Xiaofan, do not you pretend either. You have been flaunting a big gold watch there. You earn 5,000 yuan a month. Can you afford a watch worth 50 or 60,000? Is not it fake too? To be blunt, you probably bought it from a street stall for a few dozen bucks, and you're still showing off with it. Bullshit, I effing spent over 300 yuan on this. Is not that better than your broken lighter? The two of them were also exposing each other's secrets, completely disregarding their dignity. At this moment, Wu Yutong silently got up and walked to another side to sit down. Wu Yutong did not even want to look at these two anymore, let alone get close to them. Her face was filled with disdain. Of course, everyone present now had a 180-degree change in attitude towards the two of them. From their initial fawning flattery, they now did not want to bother with them at all. Meanwhile, Qiao Yuki, who had been sitting quietly, also took this opportunity to proactively strike up a conversation with Xiao Feng. Xiao Feng, how did you know about their companies, and in such detail, did you really go and investigate them? The reason Qiao Yuqi asked this was simply to strike up a conversation with Xiao Feng. It is not like I specifically investigated them. Xiao Feng casually made up an excuse, mainly, my company is also nearby, and my department stumbled upon it while doing market research. Oh, I see. Qiao Yuqi nodded. So, you really opened your own company? Yeah, it is not a big scale. The two exchanged simple, small talk. When Zhang Yu and Xu Changlin heard this and combined it with Xiao Feng's earlier words, the two exchanged glances. Only then did they realize that what Xiao Feng said earlier about going to his company was true. Xiao Feng really did have his own company. Xiao Feng, Zhang Yu proactively spoke. Does your company really have suitable positions for both of us? Yeah, Xiao Feng. Although we have some education, we do not really have any work experience in terms of business capabilities. It is fine. Xiao Feng smiled faintly. It is still what I said earlier. If you still have not found a satisfactory job before going to Magic City, you can come and visit my place. If you feel the benefits are good, you can stay with my company. As for work experience, you can learn as you go. Xiao Feng's words were intentionally meant to keep them, and also gave them plenty of face. Xiao Feng always remembered that in his previous life, the two of them each gave him 1,000 yuan. Although 1,000 yuan was not a lot, at that time, for the two of them, it was quite a sum, especially since they had not even found jobs yet. Under those circumstances, to still each give Xiao Feng 1,000 yuan, they were indeed quite loyal. Moreover, they were only dormitory roommates before, not particularly close brothers. They had absolutely fulfilled their moral obligations. Consequently, Xiao Feng naturally helped whenever he could, especially since Zhang Yu and Xu Changlin were both highly educated and familiar, making him feel at ease employing them. As Xiao Feng's words fell, Zhang Yu and Xu Changlin were momentarily a little excited. All right, Xiao Feng. Then tomorrow, we will really go and check out your company. No problem. I will be at the company tomorrow. I will personally show you two around. This was true boss direct recruitment. However, Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong also overheard this conversation at this moment. The reason they were arguing today was partly because they were indeed mortal enemies, and partly because they hated Xiao Feng even more. Because Xiao Feng had essentially exposed their dirty laundry, making them lose a lot of face in front of their classmates. If it were not for Xiao Feng, the two would not have been so thoroughly humiliated. But actually, it was not Xiao Feng's fault. It was they who insisted Xiao Feng speak, and Xiao Feng merely satisfied their request. However, they truly hated Xiao Feng now. They had completely lost face in front of their classmates. And now, upon hearing that Xiao Feng had indeed opened a company and was offering a base salary of 15,000, The two immediately stood on the same front, unleashing full firepower on Xiao Feng. Mainly, what Xiao Feng said was too fake. It could not be any faker. Seizing this opportunity, the two naturally wanted to get their revenge. Xiao Feng, stop bragging, Zhou Xiaofan said with a face full of disdain. Just now at the hotel entrance, everyone saw you riding a small electric scooter. And you're claiming you opened a company. Do you even believe yourself? Also, you actually dare to say you can offer a base salary of 15,000 a month. How do you have the nerve to say that? Exactly, Li Dadong echoed, riding an electric bike to a class reunion, then saying you opened a company, and then saying you can give classmates a monthly salary of 15,000. Who would believe that? You are not going to say that you deliberately played it low-key, which is why you rode a small electric bike here, are you? I think you, back in college, read too many feel-good novels, and you think you're writing one here, huh? Are you going to slap everyone's face? It is just a shame. This is not a novel. It is real life. Stop daydreaming here. Exactly. Zhou Xiaofan immediately added, if you can open a company and pay employees 15,000 a month, then would not you yourself have to earn at least 100,000 a month? If you could really earn 100,000 a month, would you come to this class reunion? Would you ride a small electric scooter? If you ask me, you just have no experience in bragging. You do not even draft it first. Like me and Dadong, at least one of us knew to buy a fake watch, and the other knew to buy a fake key. And you did not prepare at all. Still too little experience. The current situation was becoming increasingly outrageous. While Zhou Xiaofan was verbally sarcastic, he even sounded a bit like he was giving a lesson. He wanted to teach Xiao Feng how to pretend. As the two relentlessly mocked him, some of the other classmates at the table could not help but nod. Indeed, Xiao Feng's bragging was a bit illogical. Who could believe that someone riding an electric bike could pay their employees a salary of 15,000? This was clearly just bragging. Facing Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong's taunts, Xiao Feng merely smiled faintly. It is fine, you two keep talking. Let you two perform first. It was precisely this relaxed demeanor on Xiao Feng's face that made Zhou Xiaofan even more furious. What more should we say? Do we even need to? The truth is right in front of us. You exposed us, and now we are exposing you. There is nothing wrong with that. Besides, you bragged more fiercely than us. We just said we opened a small company, but you are giving employees 15,000 yuan a salary. You are almost bragging to the heavens. Exactly. If you're really that awesome, pay the bill for today, then I will believe you. Can you afford it? There was even a provocation. Knock, knock, knock. Just then, the waiter first knocked on the door, then pushed a cart in. There were 3 bottles of red wine on the cart. All of them were Romane Conti. The total price of these 3 bottles of wine was 326,664 yuan. This type of private room did not have a dedicated butler service. It was all standardized service. But the waitress was still very pretty. As the waitress pushed the small cart in, everyone looked puzzled. Excuse me, may I ask which one is Mr. Xiao Feng? All at once, everyone's gaze turned towards him. That is me. Can I help you? Xiao Feng asked very calmly. Hello, Mr. Xiao Feng, our hotel's chairman, Young Kiwan, learned that you and your classmates are having a gathering here, so he specifically sent me over to deliver wine to you. He said that this Romane Conti is your favorite, and he was worried that you and your classmates would not have enough. So he sent a total of 3 bottles, and today's entire bill is completely on us. Our chairman, Yang, asked me to convey a special message, wishing you and your classmates a pleasant meal. As the waitress's words fell, the entire venue fell silent once more. At this moment, everyone's gaze fixed on Xiao Feng, unable to react for a moment. It was as if they had heard some auditory hallucination. Sending wine. The bill waved. The chairman himself waved it. For a moment, everyone truly could not react, finding it impossible to comprehend. Because everyone knew very clearly that the place they were at right now was a 5-star hotel. And the waitress had just clearly stated that the wine was personally sent by the chairman, and also mentioned the bill waiver. This meant that Xiao Feng not only knew the chairman of this hotel, but also had an unusual relationship with him. As a result, for a short period, everyone stared at Xiao Feng with expressions of shock. The waitress, following the service protocol, opened the red wine and prepared to let it breathe in a decanter. While the waitress was decanting the wine, the crowd gradually began to recover. After recovering, countless questions naturally arose in their minds, and they were extremely eager to know the answers. Xiao Feng, Wu Feng, the first to hedge his bets, spoke up. Do you really know the chairman of this hotel? Mm-hmm. We have dined together. After hearing this, Wu Feng's Adam's apple bobbed, and he quickly did some calculations in his mind, his tone becoming a little choked. This is a 5-star hotel. The chairman of a 5-star hotel must be worth at least 100 million, right? How do you know him? This was also the answer everyone wanted to know. Logically, Xiao Feng should not know someone worth 100 million. At this moment, everyone was staring intently at Xiao Feng. Xiao Feng remained unfazed, acting very casually. What is there to be surprised about? We are all friends. Xiao Feng's casual remark, "We are all friends," made it even harder for them to figure him out. If someone else had friends worth 100 million, they would definitely brag about it incessantly. But in Xiao Feng's mouth, it sounded so casual and ordinary. Just then, Zhou Xiaofan also noticed the red wine. The waitress had opened and looked at the label. Although Zhou Xiaofan was not wealthy, he liked to show off, so he had a basic understanding of some high-end brands. Upon seeing the name of the red wine and combining it with the fact they were in a 5-star hotel, a bolt from the blue flashed through his mind. Could it be? Waitress, how much does this bottle of red wine sell for at your Lingyun Hotel? Zhou Xiaofan stammered. 108,888 yuan per bottle. For 3 bottles, it is a total of 326,664 yuan. As the words fell, this time, everyone at the table, even Qiao Yuqi, instinctively froze, finding it incomprehensible. Although Qiao Yuqi came from a good family, she was not from a wealthy background. Hearing that a drink would cost over 300,000 yuan, how could she not be surprised? As for the others, at this moment, the scene was utter pandemonium, with shouts of disbelief echoing endlessly. Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! For a moment, the scene seemed to spiral out of control. The class reunion had turned into an exclamation fest. The scene unfolding at this moment was not an exaggeration at all, as it completely exceeded everyone's understanding. A meal costing the equivalent of 320,000 yuan was something they would not have even dared to imagine before. 320,000 yuan. Zhou Xiaofan said with a trembling voice. Does not that mean a meal cost the price of a BMW 3 Series? Damn, it really seems like it. Let us not even talk about Dadong's BMW 3 Series being fake, even if it were real. It would only be worth the price of this meal. My God. 320,000 yuan for one meal, and what is more, these 3 bottles of wine were sent by the hotel's chairman. Even Zhang Yu, his former roommate, could not remain calm. Xiao Feng. What exactly is your relationship with this hotel's chairman? Just friends. Yu Changlin also chimed in, but this is wine worth 320,000 yuan. He just gives it away. And he is also waiving the entire meal bill. Xiao Feng looked at everyone's shocked expressions and felt helpless. He had just wanted a low-key meal. But who knew Yang Qiyuan would suddenly send 3 bottles of wine? But he had to admit, Yang Qiyuan was indeed generous. Of course, the main reason was that the matter Xiao Feng handled last time was also very generous. Last time, the bill should have been waived, but Xiao Feng ended up paying. As a result, when Yang Qiuan heard that Xiao Feng was having a gathering with his classmates here this time, he immediately sent 3 more bottles. And he had already instructed the front desk beforehand that this time, no matter what, they were not to give Xiao Feng a chance to pay. Xiao Feng could not help but feel a bit more respect for Yang Qiuan in his heart. Since the man treated him as a friend, Xiao Feng naturally treated him as a friend too. He remembered this gesture. After the 100,000 yuan per bottle red wine was decanted, everyone stared at the wine, their Adam's apples bobbing uncontrollably. Who would not want to taste red wine worth 100,000 yuan a bottle? Even a single sip would be enough. Bragging material for a lifetime. Especially for people like Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong, they would brag at future dinner parties, saying, "I have tasted red wine worth 100,000 yuan a bottle before." Just as everyone was still reeling in shock, Xiaofeng's phone rang. "Hello, Xiaofeng. Where are you? I will return your car." The call was from Zhang Yang. "I am at Lingyun Hotel having a class reunion. You can just bring it here. Your electric scooter is here too." Lingyun Hotel. I happen to be nearby. I will be there in about 2 minutes, but since you're at a class reunion, I won't come up. I will just leave the keys in the lobby. That is fine. Just leave them in the lobby. Everyone clearly heard these brief words exchanged between Xiaofeng and Zhang Yang. So, Xiaofeng really has a car, and he actually lent it to a friend. I thought he was bluffing earlier. Thought he was just kidding. Are you stupid? Xiaofeng can get over 300,000 yuan worth of wine sent to him just for a meal. How could he not have a car? Brother Feng, I have to toast you. Me too. In an instant, at the dinner table, Xiaofeng immediately became the successful person in everyone's eyes. Those who were fence-sitters now treated Xiaofeng with utmost respect. Just then, the sound of engines roaring was heard from the hotel entrance. They happened to be on the 3rd floor of the hotel, and the large floor-to-ceiling windows offered a clear view of the scene outside. Holy shit! Zhou Xiaofan was the first to see it. Look quickly, everyone. A Porsche Panamera has arrived at the entrance. Damn, it really is a Panamera. Looking at the rims on the wheels, this must be the top-spec model. Wow. If it is the top spec, this car must be worth over 3 million yuan. Rovely. And someone who can afford such a top-spec model is likely worth at least 50 million yuan. Young men have a special yearning for luxury cars, so upon seeing this Panamera, they could not help but stare for a few extra moments through the window. They chimed in, offering various praises, but not a single person connected this car to the phone call Xiaofeng had just made. The main reason was that everyone knew very well that someone who could afford such a car must be worth at least 50 million yuan, and Xiaofeng could not possibly have 50 million yuan, so naturally, no one thought of him. 1 minute later, knock, knock, knock. It was the hotel's lobby manager. The lobby manager had met Xiaofeng before, so he naturally recognized him. Upon entering, the lobby manager held a Porsche car key in his hand. "Hello, mister. Xiao, your friend asked me to hand these car keys over to you. He is in the lobby." Xiaofeng casually took out the electric scooter's keys from his pocket. "All right, please give him these keys." "Got it." After speaking, the lobby manager placed the car keys belonging to Xiaofeng on the table. When everyone clearly saw the car emblem on the keys on the table, and then recalled the scene just moments before, in an instant, the place erupted again. Holy shit! A Porsche? Could it be? Could it be that the Panamera just now was Xiaofeng's? For a moment, the other 9 people at the table were repeatedly shocked, as if they had learned something incredibly outlandish. But as outlandish as it was, the fact was right before them. That was a real Porsche car key, not a lighter. Wu Feng, standing nearby, subconsciously picked up the car key on the table and noticed that it did not have a button to pop out the key, but it did have unlock buttons and such. So, under everyone's gaze, Wu Feng looked through the window towards the outside and pressed the lock button again. Beep, beep, where their eyes landed. The Panamera downstairs flashed its yellow lights. Holy crap! Everyone instinctively exclaimed, "Holy crap," again. Now there was no doubt. That Panamera belonged to Xiaofeng. At this moment, in everyone's eyes, Xiaofeng was simply like a god. After all, everyone had just graduated, and Xiaofeng was actually driving a luxury car worth 2.7 million. And anyone who could drive such a luxury car would likely have a net worth of tens of millions. Xiaofeng. Even Zhang Yu's voice trembled. What? What kind of company do you run? How did you make so much money? Ah, just good luck, Xiaofeng said casually, with an air of nonchalance again. In an instant, everyone redefined Xiaofeng, even the way they looked at him changed. Their eyes not only held surprise but also a hint of fear, feeling that Xiaofeng was simply terrifying. It had only been a few months since graduation, and he could already drive a Panamera. Thinking back to the verbal sarcasm directed at Xiao Feng just now, everyone could not help but feel a chill of apprehension. Xiao Feng. Wu Feng's Adam's apple bobbed, cold sweat trickling down. I apologize to you. I take back what I said earlier. I'm sorry. I judged you with my snobbish eyes. I apologize too. Liu Wenhao also stammered. I should not have said those questioning things earlier. I truly did not expect you to be so capable now. Wu Feng and Liu Wenhao. Those two were classic fence-sitters earlier. These two were not bad. They were just the type to trim their sails to the wind, leaning wherever the wind blew. At the same time, Wu Yutong quickly took out a small square box from her shoulder bag, similar to a compact mirror, checked her reflection, and quickly touched up her makeup. Then, she displayed a very standard flight attendant smile, and with flirtatious almond eyes, she cooed, Xiao Feng, I can't believe it has only been a few months since graduation, and you are already so accomplished at such a young age. Actually, I had a crush on you back in school too. But back then, Qiao Yuqi was always chasing you, and later you got together with Li Jinian, so I never had a chance to express my feelings to you and kept that affection hidden in my heart. Now, seeing you so successful, I am happy for you from the bottom of my heart. If possible, I am willing to wait for you. As expected of Wu Yutong, she had no shame. No need, we are getting married soon. Xiao Feng decisively refused. For a woman like Wu Yutong, Xiao Feng did not want to give her even the slightest bit of fantasy, directly killing all her illusions in the cradle. When Qiao Yuqi heard that Xiao Feng was getting married soon, her eyes trembled slightly, showing both disappointment and relief, and she forced a smile at the corner of her lips. Congratulations in advance, Xiao Feng. I wish you both happiness. You too. I wish you find your other half soon. Xiao Feng was just like that, not considering philandering outside, which also allowed Li Jinian to feel secure and reassured, giving his partner enough sense of security. Similarly, this moment also meant that Xiao Feng and Qiao Yuqi had completely drawn a line under their past. However, Wu Yutong still felt a bit unwilling to give up at this moment. Mainly, she realized that Xiao Feng was simply too rich. What if Xiao Feng broke up with Li Jinian? Would not she have a chance then? After all, as long as they were not married, anything was possible. Xiao Feng, why do not I save your number? If you are ever in a bad mood, you can call me. Oh, I will cheer you up. Faced with Wu Yutong's persistent approach, Xiao Feng could not even be bothered to respond. Like Qiao Yuqi, she would at least maintain a certain distance and respect Xiao Feng's choice. So Xiao Feng would naturally respect Qiao Yuqi too. But for someone like Wu Yutong, Xiao Feng could not even be bothered to show respect. No need. 3 simple words. Clear attitude. Just give it to me. What if you break up with Li Jinian someday? I can still chat with you. Get lost. This time, Xiao Feng no longer held back a simple get lost expressed his attitude. It was not that Xiao Feng lacked manners, but that Wu Yutong's words were too much. Who would say something like, I will wait until you break up to someone's face? And facing Xiao Feng's get lost, Zhou Xiaofan, who had already lost all face, became displeased again. Wu Yutong was Zhou Xiaofan's goddess. But now, with Wu Yutong putting her warm face against a cold butt, Xiao Feng publicly told her to get lost. How could Zhou Xiaofan tolerate that? That was his goddess. As the saying goes, when beating a dog, you still have to consider its owner, let alone when it is directly hitting the owner. Even if Zhou Xiaofan clearly knew he could not compare to Xiao Feng, as a man, he absolutely could not let his goddess suffer such humiliation. Zhou Xiaofan had to be a man for once, to help his goddess regain face, and to regain his own face. If he defended his goddess Wu Yutong, maybe he could even move her. What if Wu Yutong's heart was touched, and she fell in love with him? Thinking of this, Zhou Xiaofan finally mustered up some courage. Xiao Feng, how can you talk like that? Yutong is asking for your phone number, and it is one thing if you do not give it. But you actually tell her to get lost. Do you believe me? I will mute you in the QQ group. I am an administrator. What a domineering confrontation. At this moment, Wu Yutong completely broke down. When Xiaofeng told her to get lost, she did not feel too ashamed. But when she heard Zhou Xiaofan speaking up for her, that is when she truly felt utterly humiliated. Zhou Xiaofan, get lost, stop talking, I get annoyed just hearing you speak. And hurry up and throw away that broken watch on your wrist. It is really disgusting. You, why do you have to pretend to be a big shot and even compare yourself to Xiao Feng? What qualifications do you have to compare with him? He not only runs a company now, but also drives a top-spec Panamera with a net worth of at least 50 million. And you, what do you have to compare with him? You even say you will mute someone on QQ, honestly. Being liked by you, I feel embarrassed. Wu Yutong's tirade truly did not give Zhou Xiaofan any face at all. This was also tantamount to completely breaking ties. After all, Zhou Xiaofan had fawned over her for so long, and this was the first time he had heard Wu Yutong scold him like this. She really did not leave him any dignity, and all of this, the fuse was actually Xiaofeng. For a moment, Zhou Xiaofan felt more and more wronged the more he thought about it. Now he hated Xiaofeng from the bottom of his heart. If it were not for Xiaofeng, he would not have been put in such an awkward position today. It is all his fault. All his fault. Everyone was perfectly fine being poor. Why did he get rich first? And so much money. My pretense of being a boss was fake, so why is his real? Wait a minute. Suddenly, a thought flashed through Zhou Xiaofan's mind. Could everything Xiaofeng was displaying right now also be fake? That is right. It has only been 4 months since graduation. How could Xiaofeng be doing so well? He would have to win the lottery 10 times. Something's not right. It is too off. Suddenly becoming so rich is completely inexplicable. There must be something fishy about anything that seems out of the ordinary. Zhou Xiaofan instantly understood the reason. I know. Zhou Xiaofan suddenly slapped the table. Everyone, do not be fooled by Xiaofeng. Actually, all of this is fake. As everyone knows, Xiaofeng's financial situation was not good when he was in college, and now it has only been a full 4 months since graduation. Can he earn 50 million in 4 months? Do you believe it? This is equivalent to earning more than 12 million a month on average, and 400,000 a day. Do you think that is possible? So I think everything Xiaofeng is showing right now is fake. There are teams in the market specifically offering this kind of service. Because I almost placed an order for this before, it is called Persona Packaging Setup Service. Zhou Xiaofan's words once again caused a subtle change in the situation. What he said was so vivid and detailed, it really sounded plausible. As he said, there is indeed such a service currently. For example, hiring a professional team to create a persona, also known as a setup service. This kind of service often involves luxury car rental, fabricating identities, building high-end personas, and providing a complete one-stop service, which is very professional. Although the price is not cheap, ordinary people can still afford it if they grit their teeth. Moreover, as Zhou Xiaofan said, Xiaofeng's current situation was completely unreasonable. Everyone knew that Xiaofeng's family background was ordinary, even somewhat difficult when he was in college. And he only graduated 4 months ago. It is indeed impossible to earn 50 million in 4 months. An average of 400,000 per day is simply unrealistic. As a result, after Zhou Xiaofan's questioning, others also found it very reasonable. The fence-sitter, Wu Feng, slapped his forehead. Right, I knew it. How could a college graduate earn so much money in such a short time? So the car is rented, and everything just now was performed by a professional team, huh? Definitely, Zhou Xiaofan continued. I inquired about this service before. It only costs 5,000 yuan, including car rental. After all, the whole process only takes about 2 hours, a 5,000 yuan all-inclusive service. The reason I did not place an order was not because I thought it was too expensive, but because I felt that since we are all classmates, we should be honest with each other, and should not deceive classmates like this. That is why I did not place an order. And you were being honest. You just thought it was too expensive, did not you? Zhou Xiaofan continued, so, I guess Xiaofeng must have ordered this service. This luxury car was provided by the service team, and as for the red wine, it must be fake. probably only 200 yuan a bottle. And the waiter should also be a hired actor. After all, as I said before, it is an all-inclusive service. In short, it is all fake. It could not be real. Xiao Feng could not possibly have earned 50 million in 4 months. It is unrealistic. At this moment, Zhou Xiaofan adamantly insisted that everything was fake. Yes, it must be fake. Li Dadong, who had been resentful, also spoke up. This red wine, although I have not tasted it, there is no need to think. It is probably a 200 yuan imitation bottle. Because I just searched online with my phone. These types of wines have high imitations, divided into a grade, B grade, and C grade. But I think this wine is real. Lu Howen on the side raised his hand to signal. I just drank it, and it tasted quite good. It is the best red wine I have ever had in my life. Heh! Li Dadong retorted with a frown. Have you tasted both real and fake wine? You would only know which is real and which is fake if you have tasted both. Perhaps it is because you used to drink those 30 yuan a bottle wines. So when you drink this 200 yuan fake red wine, you also think it tastes good. It seemed to make some sense. Li Dadong continued, holding his phone, and I also checked online just now. The chairman of this hotel is already 58 years old this year. At 58 years old, how could he possibly become friends with someone as young as Xiao Feng? No one would believe that if you told them. And there is a photo of the hotel chairman on the official website. Unless the chairman comes in person, I won't believe it. As he spoke, Li Dadong even opened the photo and showed it around to everyone. He made sure everyone clearly saw the online photo of the chairman of Lingyun Hotel. Knock, knock, knock. Outside the private room. A knock on the door sounded. After knocking, the person also pushed the door open and entered. The person who came in was none other than Yang Qiwan, the chairman of the hotel. Yang Qiwan heard that Xiao Feng was here for a gathering. As the chairman, he first sent wine and then waived the bill. And now, he even took the initiative to come over and say hello. This is also a normal practice for many hotels or KTVs. When people come here to eat or for entertainment, if the boss knows good friends are visiting, they will come over to say hello, have a drink, and so on. Yang Qiwan came at this moment solely to say hello to Xiao Feng, nothing more. As Yang Qian pushed the door open and entered, Li Dadong happened to still be holding his phone, showing photos to everyone. For a moment, his hand suddenly froze mid-air. Everyone looked at the person who entered through the door, then at the photo on the phone. Huh? It seemed a bit similar. This, Wu Feng confirmed 3 times in a row, this photo seems to be exactly this person. What do you mean seems? This is him. At the same time, after Yang Qian entered, he immediately greeted them. Little brother Xiao Feng, you did not tell me in advance that you were coming here. If I had known earlier that you were having a gathering with classmates here, I would have arranged a VIP private room for you. If the lobby manager had not told me, I would not have known you were coming today. Are you not treating me as a friend? As he spoke, Yang Qian also walked over with a smile. Xiao Feng also smiled. Oh, it is just a class reunion. I was not even planning to come, so I did not say anything in advance. The two began to chat and laugh. Meanwhile, the others at the table, upon seeing this scene, were now whispering among themselves. Holy crap! It really is the chairman of Lingyun Hotel. So that means the red wine is real. Is not that obvious? This is a photo from the official website. It can't be fake. It seems Xiao Feng really knows this chairman. The key is that Xiao Feng has so much face, he even came specifically to toast him. In other words, both Xiao Feng's identity and his car are real, and not as Zhou Xiaofan had guessed. Is not that just stating the obvious? After all, the chairman of Lingyun Hotel is worth hundreds of millions. He could not possibly cooperate in an act, could he? It is over at this moment. Zhou Xiaofan was breaking out in a cold sweat. I was biased. I thought everything before was fake. Now I have completely offended Xiao Feng. Li Dadong on the side was also panicking. I also offended Xiao Feng and even said the red wine was fake. The crucial thing is, the key is that I never thought Xiao Feng could really earn so much money in 4 months. Looking at it now, Xiao Feng's net worth must indeed be 50 million. Exactly. Even if it is not 50 million, 30 million is a sure thing. I think it is definitely 50 million. Oh my God. So, all this time, we have been eating with someone worth 50 million, and we have been questioning him in various ways. Meanwhile, after Xiao Feng and Yang Qiuan exchanged a few simple pleasantries, they both raised their glasses and drank them dry. It was while drinking that Xiao Feng also noticed Yang Qiuan looking a bit haggard recently, especially the gray hairs at his temples. Yang Qiuan was already 58 years old, and now he seemed to have aged another 10 years all at once, which was clearly abnormal. Brother Yang, has something happened to you recently? Last time we had dinner, you seemed to be in good spirits. But now, it feels like your gray hairs have all popped out at once, and you look completely haggard. At this moment, Yang Qiuan was indeed looking utterly haggard. What was originally only 1 to 3 gray hair was now almost 2 to 3. It would have been fine if Xiao Feng had not asked, but with that question, the smile on Yang Qiuan's face immediately stiffened. He sighed helplessly. Sigh, do not even mention it. It is all because of my son. He insists on developing some new energy batteries. I do not understand it, but it is truly draining money like water. We have already invested 50 million into it. Now, he is asking me for another 100 million, insisting that I support him. I only have this one son, so I can only support him. The most crucial thing is, guess what he told me, he said. Even if I invest another 100 million for him, subsequent investments would still require 200 or 300 million. In other words, even if I sold all 55% of my hotel shares and gave him all 170 million, it might not even be enough. So how can I not be worried, not to mention the subsequent money? Right now, I do not even know who to sell this hotel to. Although my hotel profits at least tens of millions annually, if I want to sell it quickly, 170 million is not something just anyone can readily produce. And now he is pressuring me every day. How can I not be worried? How can my hair not turn gray? Sigh. Yang Qiuan also poured out his grievances. Every family has its own difficulties. But no matter what, it was clear that he fully supported his son. Even if he sold his life's work, he would be willing. And what he was worried about now was not just selling the hotel, but also who to sell it to, as it was 170 million, and ordinary people simply could not produce that much money all at once. Furthermore, his son's investment would require continuous funding later on, like a bottomless pit. It was precisely for this reason that his hair was turning white so quickly. After listening to Yang Qiuan's words, Xiao Feng quickly weighed things in his mind. Actually, Xiao Feng had considered buying this hotel last time. Although it was only 55% of the shares, it amounted to 100% control, meaning Xiao Feng would have the final say over the hotel in the future. What Xiao Feng valued most was not the hotel's annual profit of tens of millions, but the land itself. Because this 55% share included the land, it was worth 170 million. Once purchased, this location would only appreciate in value in the future, not depreciate. In his memory, Lingyun Hotel continued to thrive even more than a decade later. So once bought, this was inherently a sure win, no-loss business. He would break even sooner or later. The most crucial thing was that Yang Qiuan was particularly keen to sell it now. If Xiao Feng bought it, it would essentially be helping Yang Qiuan overcome his difficulties. In addition, Yang Qiuan's son's new energy project would still require financial support later on, and Xiao Feng might even be able to lend a hand and get a piece of the pie. Considering all of this, Xiao Feng also completely made up his mind. At this moment, the private room was completely silent. The other classmates were all watching the conversation between Xiao Feng and Yang Qiuan. Xiao Feng under everyone's gaze. Brother Yang, do not worry anymore. Since we are friends, I will naturally help out if I can. How about this? Is not it just 170 million? I am buying this hotel. Without a doubt, in an instant, Xiao Feng once again shocked everyone present. Even Yang Qiuan, after hearing it, instinctively parted his lips slightly, surprised to the point of doubting his own ears. Mainly, Xiao Feng's words were simply too outrageous, completely beyond expectation. No matter how much Yang Qiuan thought, he never expected that he was merely confiding his troubles to Xiao Feng, but the result was an immediate deal. Even though Yang Qiuyan had previously heard Yan Wenshan say that Xiaofeng had a net worth of 1 billion, that was net worth, which did not necessarily mean he had cash. Besides, he did not think Xiaofeng would be interested in his hotel business. But now, Xiaofeng simply said he would buy it. For a moment, Xiaofeng's words kept echoing in Yang Qiuyan's mind. Is not it just 170 million? Xiaofeng gave the impression that coming up with 170 million was effortlessly easy. But then again, if it was not easy, Xiaofeng would not have been so quick to want to buy the hotel. At this moment, Yang Qiuyan could not help but wonder about Xiaofeng's background and strength. To possess such strength at a young age was simply incredible. Meanwhile, the most shocked were naturally Xiaofeng's classmates. At this moment, for them, it was truly a moment of doubting life itself, doubting their own ears. What kind of heaven-defying statement was that from Xiaofeng? Is not it just 170 million? I will buy this hotel. 170 million bought just like that. How rich must Xiaofeng be then? For a moment, all the classmates present were stunned. Initially, everyone thought it was unbelievable when they heard Xiaofeng had 50 million, but now, Xiaofeng actually wanted to directly buy the hotel for 170 million. One must know, this group of classmates at the table even found the 300 yuan for today's AA meal expensive and only accepted it grudgingly. After all, the highest monthly salary among these classmates at the table did not exceed 6,000 yuan. Most of them had just graduated, and finding a job for 6,000 yuan was already quite good. Most earned 4,000 or 5,000 yuan, and some did not even have jobs yet. But Xiaofeng directly threw out 170 million to buy the current hotel. How could these classmates not doubt their lives? For a moment, shock, surprise, incomprehension, various emotions intertwined in their hearts. These classmates looked at each other. Meanwhile, Yang Qiuyan finally recovered from his previous shock. Brother Xiaofeng, did you just say you want to buy my hotel? You are not joking, are you? You should know this is no small matter. If you have truly decided to buy it, then I will start considering the equity transfer agreement and convening a shareholders meeting. And Brother Xiaofeng, most importantly, this is 170 million. Do not you want to reconsider? Yang Qiuyan asked Xiaofeng to think carefully, simply because he was afraid Xiaofeng might act impulsively and then regret it, which would be a wasted effort. However, this concern was completely unnecessary, because Xiaofeng had already considered it thoroughly. The last time he heard Yang Qiuyan wanted to sell, Xiaofeng already wanted to buy it. The core reason was that this was a sure-fire profit. After all, for more than a decade in the future, this hotel would still operate very well. The hotel had a professional team to manage it, so once Xiaofeng bought it, he would simply collect money later on. And then there was the land. More than a decade later, this piece of land would also become increasingly expensive. In short, with a guaranteed profit, Xiaofeng did not need to overthink it, especially since he was also helping Yang Qiuyan overcome his difficulties. Brother Yang, no need to consider it further. Anyway, I have hundreds of millions in idle cash in my card, and I was just thinking of investing. Let us just consider this an investment. As for the subsequent procedures or contracts, we can discuss them together when the time comes. Anyway, do not worry about the money. Xiaofeng intentionally revealed that he had hundreds of millions in idle cash, but it was not to show off in front of his classmates. Rather, he had previously heard that Yang Qiuyan's son, Yang Ning, and his power battery project would still require significant investment later on. Xiaofeng was mainly heading in that direction, because in his memory, new energy indeed became one of the major trends. Anyone who laid out plans in advance made a fortune later on. Moreover, the character Ning in Yang Ning's name, coupled with the fact that he was starting his business in Jiangzhen City, led Xiaofeng to boldly speculate that it was 99% likely to be the future Ningchuang era. The Ningchuang era of later generations was the largest new energy company in the country, with its core industry being power batteries and its operations covering the globe. Its final market capitalization even reached nearly 3 trillion. For such a massive industry, if one held just 10% of the shares, those shares would be worth 300 billion in the future. And these 170 million could not only reasonably get him involved with this venture, but also provide Xiaofeng with a physical business like a hotel. Xiaofeng had currently invested in so many companies, most of which were stock-based, lacking physical assets. And this hotel just happened to provide Xiaofeng with another physical business. Why not? When Yang Qion received a clear answer, it was visibly apparent that his face relaxed significantly. He felt his mental state instantly rejuvenated by at least 5 years, as if the clouds had parted and all pressure was gone. Good, that is great, brother. Xiaofeng. I will start organizing the equity agreement and convening the shareholders' meeting next. When the shareholders' meeting day comes, I will tell you 1 day in advance and you just come over. Okay, no problem. Just like that. Xiaofeng merely came for a meal and inadvertently ended up buying this 5-star hotel. Once completed, Xiaofeng would be the largest shareholder of this 5-star hotel, or to put it plainly, its boss. Meanwhile, the other 9 classmates at the table also finally slowly recovered from their shock at this moment. They also fully realized that everything they saw and heard before them was true, especially in the conversation between Xiaofeng and Yang Qiwan just now. There was an even more explosive line. I just happen to have hundreds of millions in idle cash. Hundreds of millions. Idle cash. After the classmates recovered, they now truly regarded Xiaofeng as a god. For a moment, everyone exchanged remarks, filled with various exclamations. Oh my God, what exactly has Xiaofeng been through in just a few months? His net worth instantly exceeded 100 million. It is more than just a net worth of over 100 million. He just said he has hundreds of millions in idle cash. I am such an idiot. Zhou Xiaofan could not help but mutter. Originally, I even thought Xiaofeng's Panamera was rented. Now that I think about it, for someone with a net worth of hundreds of millions, driving a car like that is already considered low-key. I am also an idiot. Li Dadong immediately echoed. Just now I was saying, this wine was fake, a high-quality replica. Now it seems, I am just too inexperienced. I said it was real a long time ago. Liu Wenhao took the opportunity to pour himself another glass. I could tell with one taste, this is definitely not fake wine. If you ask me at this point, whether the wine is real or fake does not matter anymore. Xiaofeng just shelled out 170 million to buy this hotel. Even if what he is drinking is fake, it is still real, and besides, it could not possibly be fake. Soon, even this hotel will be his. It is hard to understand. We all graduated from a 211 university, and we are still busy working for 5,000 a month, while Xiaofeng, on the other hand, already has a net worth of almost 500 million. It is not that low. Just then, Yang Qion, hearing the classmates' conversation, could not resist reminding them. It is 1 billion. Not that low. Everyone was already shocked enough, who knew Yang Qiyuan gave everyone another critical hit. He specifically emphasized it, stating that Xiaofeng's net worth was 1 billion. As Yang Qiyun's words fell, everyone gasped in surprise again. It was simply outrageous. However, for the classmates, this time it did not take as long to recover. After all, 500 million and 1 billion had no concept in their minds. They only knew that the number had doubled again. But if they were to break it down and calculate it, the more they calculated, the more outrageous it seemed. Holy moly, Xiaofeng has 1 billion, but he only graduated 4 months ago, meaning he earns 250 million a month. If he earns 250 million a month, that means he earns 8.33 million every day. There are 24 hours in a day. He earns approximately 350,000 an hour on average, even including sleep. In other words, Xiaofeng can earn a BMW 3 Series in 1 hour. If he sleeps for 8 hours, by the time he wakes up, he will have earned 8 BMW 3 Series cars. Holy moly, calculating it this way, I suddenly seem to understand what 1 billion means. Yes, 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 I can suddenly feel it intuitively too. Earning 350,000 an hour on average. Just like that popular saying online recently, poverty limits my imagination. Wait a minute, I just did a more detailed calculation. If he earns 350,000 an hour, then he earns an average of 5,800 yuan per minute. What? 5,800 yuan per minute? Ah, it seems right. He really can earn 5,800 yuan per minute. Holy moly! This makes me feel it even more directly. Oh my gosh, 1 minute is more than my monthly salary. It was not until everyone calculated how much he earned per minute that they truly realized what Xiaofeng's 1 billion net worth meant. Clearly, 4 months ago, everyone was just classmates, all university students. 4 months later, Xiaofeng's net worth was 1 billion. Holy moly! Zhou Xiaofan, after finishing this calculation, also cursed repeatedly, and a trace of excitement flashed in his eyes. I never thought that I, Zhou Xiaofan, could have a classmate worth 1 billion and even ate with someone worth 1 billion. I am simply amazing. Me too. Li Dadong immediately felt a sense of superiority, and my seat is even closer to Xiaofeng. So the reason these two were excited was because of this. But if nothing unexpected happens, once they walk out of this door today, given Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong's usual character, they will probably tell everyone they meet from now on. Saying my classmate is worth 1 billion. Saying I ate with someone worth 1 billion. As for Xiaofeng exposing their companies earlier, they no longer cared about it. The reason was also very simple. With Xiaofeng being a person worth 1 billion, they could not curry favor fast enough now. There was even less jealousy. People only envy those who are slightly better than themselves. The greater the gap, the less likely they are to feel jealousy, because they can't reach that level. And for someone like Xiaofeng, who had a net worth of 1 billion, only admiration and respect remained. At the same time, after Yang Qian and Xiaofeng had a brief conversation and arranged a time, he then left the private room. After Yang Qian left, Xiaofeng also noticed everyone's gazes on him. Each and every one of those gazes. Why is everyone looking at me like that? Keep eating. Who was still in the mood to eat. You earn more in 1 minute than we do in a month. The food no longer tasted good. Wu Feng, the fence-sitter, now wished he could throw himself onto Xiaofeng. Feng, brother Feng, does your company still hire people? Take me on. I also want to work for your company. I want to go too. Liu Wenhao also raised his hand to signal. Me too. I think I can do it. I will close my company tomorrow. I will close mine too. I also want to apply. For a moment, even Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong stated that they would close their companies and work for Xiaofeng, and their attitudes were better than ever. Of course, Xiaofeng's Polaris company was not somewhere just anyone could get into. Having ability was one thing. Whether Xiaofeng wanted them in was another. For example, Zhang Yu and Xu Changlin, they had helped Xiaofeng in their previous life. So if they wanted to join, even if they only had an elementary school education, Xiaofeng would still let them start, but others could not. Xiaofeng then immediately gave a most official response. If you want to go, of course, there is no problem. Everything will follow the normal process. In our company's job recruitment, after interviews and HR evaluations, the company will select the best candidates. This official reply was simple and clear, telling everyone to rely on their own abilities. Everyone was not foolish, so they naturally understood what Xiaofeng meant and would not continue to make fools of themselves. Meanwhile, Zhang Yu and Xu Changlin, after hearing this, could not help but swallow, and they exchanged glances. They were still very aware of their own abilities, and knew that the company salary Xiaofeng mentioned was 15,000. So if they were to apply with their work experience, they definitely would not get in. However, Xiaofeng saw through what they were thinking at that moment with a single glance. He then patted their shoulders. You two do not need to interview. You two can go and see, and if you want to stay, just stay. The two instantly understood, and their eyes immediately reddened. Was not this the special privilege Xiaofeng was giving them? At this moment, after Xiaofeng finished speaking, he felt a surge of secret satisfaction. This was the joy of being a boss. Just like that, Xiaofeng did not come to today's class reunion for nothing. He had acquired a hotel and gained another physical asset. After Xiaofeng glanced at the time. All right, everyone, please eat slowly. I have something else to do, so I will be leaving first. Oh, and as for the bill, you all do not need to worry about it. Just leave after you have finished eating. The only benefit Xiaofeng brought to the other classmates was that this meal today did not need to be paid for. Originally, each person would have to pay more than 300 yuan, but now not a single penny was needed. And just as Xiaofeng walked out of the private room, he immediately heard sounds of arguing coming from inside. Strange, they are still arguing even though they do not have to pay this time. Inside the private room. Liu Wenhao, stop pouring, you bastard. Leave some red wine for me. You have already drunk enough. I have not even had a sip. Whose fault is it that you did not taste it earlier? Earlier, I questioned Xiao Feng, so when the red wine came, I was too embarrassed to drink it, and thus did not have any. No, I have to savor it. Taste what this 100,000 yuan bottle of red wine actually tastes like. That way I can brag. I mean, share my experience with others later. Oh, right. After this bottle of red wine is finished, I am taking the bottle. I want to keep it for my collection. Li Dadong, you are dreaming. This red wine costs 100,000 a bottle. This bottle must be worth several thousand. Why should you get it? Holy moly. This bottle can be worth several thousand. Then I want to collect a bottle too. Me too. I want one too. Then it is everyone for themselves. Whoever snatches it, gets it. So that is it. The reason for the renewed argument was none other than Zhou Xiaofan and Li Dadong, along with a few other fence-sitters. Firstly, they were fighting over the red wine to drink. Secondly, they were even fighting over the wine bottles. Therefore, even though this time they did not have to pay or split the bill, these people still ended up arguing. Xiao Feng did not care about that anymore, because if nothing unexpected happened, this would most likely be his last class reunion. As for what came next, Xiao Feng naturally intended to continue building his business empire. Tomorrow was the end of the holiday. Time to continue accumulating wealth. Even without counting Bitcoin, judging by his current assets, Xiao Feng had indeed reached a net worth of 1 billion. Xiao Feng could not help but set a new small goal for himself in his heart. First, earn 10 billion. October 8th. After the holiday, everything was as before and the busy state resumed. At 9 a.m., Xiao Feng personally led Zhang Yu and Xu Changlin on a tour of the company, then had someone process their onboarding paperwork. After the two arrived, they immediately expressed their willingness to stay at Polaris Company, almost without a second's hesitation. This was to be expected after all. Xiao Feng offered a base salary of 15,000, which was 3 times the normal external salary. It would be strange if they did not stay. Furthermore, not only did these two start today, but during the ongoing interview process, an additional 12 elites from various fields were recruited. Some specialized in operations, some in management, and others were responsible for coordinating various projects. Each one of them was considered talented. Even Zhang Yu and Xu Changlin were highly educated, having both graduated from 211 universities. In short, apart from the earliest batch of hires, those recruited afterward were all more or less capable. Whenever an employee joined Polaris, Xiao Feng would give a grand introduction, showing his regard for the staff. Of course, the rules also had to be stated. Polaris was essentially the headquarters here. Although the salary and benefits were high, rules had to be followed. There was no room for favoritism or forming cliques. Once cliques or opposition were discovered, no matter who it was or their relationship with Xiao Feng, they would be immediately fired. This was the headquarters. Without rules, nothing can be accomplished. To date, all employees of Xiao Feng's Polaris headquarters, including the cleaning staff, totaled 83 individuals. They were divided into President's Office, Investment Department, Finance Department, Legal Department, Operations Department, Human Resources, and Administrative Public Relations. Of course, there were also other special teams, although not full departments. The existence of each of these teams was extremely important. For example, Dahu and Erhu, one was responsible for acquiring commercial properties and the other for Bitcoin, while others handled special business liaisons. In short, the company did not tolerate idlers. Here, the most core department was undoubtedly the president's office. The so-called president's office acted as Xiao Feng's personal central hub, directly serving him, conveying his messages, holding authority, executing tasks, and arranging his schedule and travel, among other things. At this moment, Polaris, both in terms of business and structure, had fully achieved the standardization of a conglomerate. With these departments, Xiao Feng's daily work would naturally become somewhat easier. For instance, regarding the acquisition of a 55% stake in Lingyun Hotel, for the subsequent procedures, Xiao Feng only needed to finalize the agreement with Yang Quan, and then everything else would be handed over to the legal department for coordination. As for other departments, everything proceeded as scheduled. Regarding Bitcoin, it was currently still divided into two teams, Erhu's team and Guo Shouhang's overseas team. Additionally, Dahu's team continued to be responsible for acquiring commercial properties. Although the company was responsible for coordinating all commercial properties, these assets ultimately belonged to Xiaofeng personally. Of course, the entire company was Xiaofeng's personal property with a 100% shareholding. To date, Xiaofeng owned 25 commercial properties with a total expenditure of 68.55 million yuan. Following the previous plan, Xiaofeng's goal was to ultimately acquire 100 commercial properties, and all these commercial properties would eventually be given to Legenian at once. Did not she say she wanted to be a landlady, of course? Xiaofeng would indulge her. He just had not told Legenian yet. By then, Legenian would only need to collect rent every day, fulfilling her small wish. Moreover, these were all real assets. Given the current situation, all commercial properties would appreciate in value in the future. These real assets would always be a stable and profitable investment. In fact, most of Xiaofeng's holdings were in real industries. Whether it was his investment in the rice porridge team, flash delivery home, or his own greenhouse farming, all were considered real industries. His only virtual asset was Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin's future investment value was simply too high, offering the highest return rate and a guaranteed small investment for a large gain. Even if Bitcoin were to suddenly crash in the future, Xiaofeng could completely bear the risk. After all, as of now, the 500,000 Bitcoins in Xiaofeng's current balance had cost him less than 5 million yuan in total. So even if Bitcoin really crashed, Xiaofeng would at most lose only 5 million yuan. But if it did not crash and everything followed the normal upward trend, Xiaofeng's 500,000 Bitcoins could be worth 350 billion yuan in the future. With such an investment return ratio, what did Xiaofeng have to fear? Furthermore, Xiaofeng would certainly become a massive capital magnate in the future, and he could also engage in cryptocurrency trading. So not only would it not crash, but it might appreciate even more. Moreover, Xiaofeng would never aim for first place. The current top Bitcoin reserve holder consistently held 1.1 million coins. Therefore, Xiaofeng also set a new goal for himself, which was the final target for Bitcoin storage. Quote, 1 million points, Mr. Xiao, are you sure? Yes, Mr. Xiao, given the current market. It might be a bit difficult to acquire another 500,000 coins. And you already have 500,000 coins. Are you sure you want to acquire another 500,000? At once, Guo Shouhang and Erhu, the two team leaders primarily responsible for Bitcoin recovery, both looked doubtful. They were not doubting Xiaofeng's decision, but rather doubting whether they could complete the task. Currently, 15% of the Bitcoin in China was held by Xiaofeng alone. Overseas, Xiaofeng also held approximately 5%. This was because Bitcoin had not yet been truly hyped up, with each coin worth at most 15 yuan. If Xiaofeng aimed to acquire another 500,000 coins, the price would increase, and it would gradually become truly hyped up. By then, the difficulty of acquisition would definitely be higher than before. After all, the target was 500,000 coins, and even if a certain high price was offered, only about 7 million coins had been mined globally so far. Moreover, the person with the largest reserve already held 1.1 million coins and would keep them, not selling them externally. Thus, the current total number of Bitcoins in circulation was only 6 million coins. If Xiaofeng's target was to acquire 1 million coins, the difficulty factor was indeed very high. But it was not impossible, it would require some time. After all, only about 1/3 of the total Bitcoin supply had been mined so far, and globally, over 7,000 Bitcoins were still being produced daily. Subsequently, approximately 2 million coins could be produced annually, after which mining would become increasingly difficult, and the price would also become more expensive. Therefore, even with the current market conditions, acquiring another 500,000 coins was not easy. The first 500,000 coins cost less than 5 million, but these next 500,000 would require at least a 20 million yuan budget, plus the escalating difficulty and increasing prices. It was precisely for this reason that Guo Xiaohang and Erhu felt immense pressure upon hearing about the need to acquire another 500,000 coins. Xiao Feng's attitude was clear. Do not worry, just boldly acquire them. As I said before, I want as many as there are. The current average price has already risen to 15 yuan per coin, so offer 17 yuan per coin. In short, money is not an issue. The total target is 1 million coins. If the goal is achieved, the two team leaders will each be rewarded 1 million yuan, and other team members will receive 300,000 yuan each. As Xiao Feng's words fell, wow, a 1 million yuan reward. Team members each get 300,000 yuan. You should have said so earlier. Even if it is difficult, it can be completed in just a few months after all. There are currently 6 million coins outside, and they are being acquired at a high price. Also, over 7,000 coins can still be produced globally every day. Do not worry, Mr. Xiao. We guarantee to complete the mission. Brothers, let us get to work. Thus, the new goal was set. Goal, first accumulate 1 million bitcoins. Over the next 2 days, everyone remained full of enthusiasm, and all departments coordinated very well. Today is October 12th. Xiao Feng also signed the transfer agreement with Yang Qiuyan as agreed, and even the shareholders' meeting was completed. From today onwards, Xiao Feng officially became the largest shareholder of Lingyun Hotel, holding 55% of the shares. All profits, decisions, or any matters concerning the hotel must be reported to Xiao Feng. However, Xiao Feng directly handed over the hotel's operations entirely to the general manager, Lu Cheng. Lu Cheng was originally the general manager of this hotel, an advanced professional, fully responsible for the hotel's operations. The previous Yang Qiuyan also did the same, practically leaving the hotel to Lu Cheng's management, and he felt at ease entrusting it to him. So, after Xiao Feng acquired it, he naturally continued to entrust it to him, acting as a hands-off boss. Moreover, Xiao Feng increased Lu Cheng's salary and benefits by 20% on top of the original package to win people's hearts. Nothing is more practical than paying more, as people work to earn money after all. Lu Cheng also patted his chest, guaranteeing Xiao Feng that he could rest assured. Of course, the hotel's monthly revenue and various other situations will also be handled by Polaris's dedicated personnel, who will report to Xiao Feng at any time. In short, Xiao Feng only needs to collect money. Spending so much money, hiring so many people, and establishing so many departments is precisely to save himself effort. Lingyun Hotel. Brother Xiao Feng, let me introduce you. This is my good-for-nothing son I have been telling you about, Yang Ning. Hello, Xiao Feng. I have also heard my very capable father mention you a lot these past 2 days. The father and son were also subtly mocking each other. In the VIP private room of Lingyun Hotel, Xiao Feng, having just completed the acquisition, was having dinner with Yang Qiuyan and his son. Yang Qiuyan had always said he wanted to introduce Xiao Feng to Yang Ning, and now it was finally accomplished. Yang Qiuyan's persistent desire for Yang Ning to meet Xiao Feng naturally had his own reasons. Because Xiao Feng, at only 22 years old, already possessed a net worth of 1 billion yuan, which was definitely a proper young and accomplished individual in the current climate. Yang Qiuyan had worked hard his entire life, and he saw some things very clearly, knowing that Xiao Feng was an extraordinary person. To have a net worth of 1 billion yuan at 22. His vision and insight into future trends were definitely beyond ordinary. So Yang Qiuyan had always wanted the two of them to meet, hoping to hear Xiao Feng's thoughts on Yang Ning's new energy venture. Mainly, Yang Qiuyan felt that Xiao Feng's vision must be superior to both his son's and his own, considering it a form of seeking advice from Xiao Feng. Yang Ning, 30 years old, wore a sharp, clean, and unpretentious suit, indicating a resilient drive to get things done. In fact, most second-generation rich, both in their speech and demeanor, as well as their personal qualities, are relatively outstanding. And Yang Ning in front of him was a prime example, making one feel very comfortable at first glance. But these were not the main points. The main point was that Xiao Feng actually already knew the talented Yang Ning before him, because he was precisely the helmsman of Ningchuang times in Xiao Feng's memory. In memory, Ningchuang Times in the future had a market value of nearly 3 trillion yuan, with industries covering the globe. It was a truly super large world-class group. For a moment, Xiaofeng felt a little excited. Indeed, luck was truly important. This was practically them coming to him. As the two got to know each other, Yang Qiuan quickly seized the opportunity. Xiaofeng, to be honest, the main reason I called my good-for-nothing son over today is to discuss the future prospects of new energy with you. I wonder if you're optimistic about it. Yang Qiuan spoke candidly, without any concealment. Brother Yang, Xiaofeng said calmly and sharply, do not always say that. Yang Ning is not the good-for-nothing son you make him out to be. I have a slight understanding of this new energy project. This industry will indeed become one of the major directions in the future, especially in the field of power batteries. It is not only low-carbon and environmentally friendly, but also highly energy efficient, with low energy consumption and cheaper operating costs. Overall, it aligns with long-term policy directions. So, Brother Yang, if you ask me for my opinion on this, I am very optimistic about it. As Xiaofeng finished speaking, Yang Ning on the side became excited first. Brother Xiaofeng, your analysis of power batteries just now is exactly the same as my thoughts. We really get along well. That was true, Xiaofeng, having been reborn from the future, knew the core of these things, which were indeed the major future directions. However, the current conversation still had some awkwardness, because Xiaofeng and Yang Qiuan addressed each other as brothers, with Yang Qiuan calling Xiaofeng little brother Xiaofeng, and Yang Ning, also called Xiaofeng brother. The mutual addressing among the three was a bit awkward. Of course, they were discussing a big project now, so these details did not matter. Each to his own. Yang Qiuan's face lit up with joy after hearing this. Little brother Xiaofeng, hearing you say that, it seems there is a lot of potential. My son's previous investment of 50 million yuan was not wasted. Then, of course not. Xiaofeng's tone remained firm. The power battery industry itself requires substantial investment and research and development, especially in the initial stages, needing continuous trial and error, so the cost is naturally very high. However, once successful, the benefits it brings are also very considerable, and the future market for this product is enormous. If it can truly grow and become strong, its market will not only be limited to domestic, but can even go overseas. Upon hearing Xiaofeng say it could go overseas, both father and son became excited. Yang Qiuan's excitement was at the thought of his son's industry going overseas, which would bring honor to their ancestors. Yang Ning's excitement was at the thought of realizing his ideals and ambitions. In short, after hearing Xiaofeng speak, both father and son were somewhat invigorated. Yang Ning's confidence surged. Brother Xiaofeng, it is rare to meet someone like you, to be honest, before coming to this dinner. When my father mentioned you, I was quite resistant. I thought he had invited you to persuade me to give up, but I never expected. Your understanding of this area is even more thorough than mine. Good, good, good! Yang Qiuan also enthusiastically chimed in. I am old and do not understand these things, but since little brother Xiaofeng says this can be done, then I will support it even if it means pouring in all my family assets. Yang Ning was naturally very excited to hear his father's support, but the next second, a bucket of cold water was poured on him. Dad, although you support me, to be honest, even if you pour in all your family assets, it is simply not enough for subsequent continued investment and research and development. What? Yang Qiuan's face nearly turned green. Last time you said you needed 100 million, and I even sold the hotel and raised an additional 30 million, meaning I prepared a total of 200 million for you. Is that still not enough? Yang Ning suddenly showed a hint of embarrassment. It is not enough, far from enough. In the subsequent stages, we will also need to consider attracting investment and multiple rounds of financing. I do not have a son like you. Yang Qiuan feigned helplessness. I feel like I have boarded a pirate ship, and now I can't get off. Dad Yang Ning quickly tried to evoke his father's affection. Did not you just hear Brother Xiaofeng say that this is a major future direction? If it really succeeds, it can go overseas. But Yang Qiuan sighed deeply. Are you sure it can succeed, and who would be willing to trust you during the subsequent financing stages? After all, Your startup requires an investment of hundreds of millions. If you can achieve results and show investors that there is investment potential, they will naturally invest. But before you achieve results, who will invest in you? I will. Just then, Xiao Feng suddenly spoke. Regarding subsequent investments, I can consider assisting you. Not for anything else, but for our domestic power batteries to also go overseas, to the international stage. He clearly just wanted to make money, but subtly elevated himself through his words. Brother Xiao Feng, what righteousness! For a moment, Xiao Feng felt a slight elevation again. It did not matter if he made money or not, the main thing was to provide support so that domestic power batteries could also go global in the future. And when Yang Qiuyan and his son heard that Xiao Feng planned to invest, it was simply an unexpected delight. Originally, Yang Qiuyan had indeed intended to hear Xiao Feng's thoughts to see if this new energy was reliable or not. What he never expected was that Xiao Feng not only highly regarded this new energy, but also expressed his intention to invest. Yang Qiuyan had, in effect, inadvertently secured a massive investment for his son. Especially after hearing Xiao Feng's words, he repeatedly praised him, stating that Xiao Feng was acting with great righteousness. However, while Yang Ning, standing by, was excited, a hint of concern still flashed across his brow. Yang Ning was the founder after all. His thoughts were very clear, and he was well aware of the various challenges currently facing power batteries. Yang Ning's tone was somewhat heavy, Brother Xiao Feng. Although I very much hope you can invest in our Ningchuang era, I can't go against my conscience. After all, this is like sending charcoal in snowy weather, so I must inform you of the current specific situation in advance. Currently, our research and development phase has only reached the first step, and this first step is still stuck on battery cell consistency, as well as thermal management and explosion-proof safety. Only by overcoming all these challenges can the first phase be considered complete, which is what we call seeing results. But if we can't overcome them, then, in terms of results, there will be no progress at all. It is possible. It is possible that we might lose everything in the end. Because if we can't even overcome this first step, it will be very difficult to attract new investment once the funds run out. And if there is not a continuous large influx of funds, it would directly spell failure. So, Xiao Feng, your current investment is very risky, with a very high gambling component, and I cannot guarantee its success rate. Yang Ning also laid out the current predicament and his concerns. This was a huge investment. After all, once Xiao Feng committed to investing, it would be at least hundreds of millions, and the risk was extremely high. Xiao Feng's current action was tantamount to sending charcoal in snowy weather, because given the current situation with even the first phase not yet overcome, other capital would not invest once funds ran out. Of course, if the first phase could be overcome, then subsequent funds would flow in continuously, and many investors would certainly come forward to inject money. At that point, whether Xiao Feng invested or not would not matter. So the most crucial juncture was now. Under the current circumstances of immense risk and general pessimism, Xiao Feng's willingness to proactively invest was an act of helping those in need. Since he was helping those in need, Yang Ning naturally had to clarify the situation. Facing Yang Ning's warning, Xiao Feng was naturally fearless, because all the things Yang Ning was currently worried about would be overcome one by one in the future with technological breakthroughs achieved. Otherwise, there would not be the Ningchuang era with a future market value of nearly 3 trillion. Therefore, Xiao Feng was not gambling. He was making a precise investment, adding more wealth for his future self. As a result, facing Yang Ning's kind warning, Xiao Feng had no need to worry at all, instead maintaining an air of noble righteousness. I understand, but investment inherently carries risks. And I will say it again. I believe in you all. You will definitely succeed, and you will definitely achieve breakthroughs, spreading our power batteries across the global market. In short, I am investing in this project. Just tell me, how much more is estimated for the first phase? I am only investing in the first phase, because once the first phase is successful, attracting subsequent investment will be very easy. Xiao Feng's words at that moment almost moved Yang Ning to tears. The first phase was the riskiest, yet Xiao Feng was willing to invest. Brother, Xiao Feng. Yang Ning tightly gripped Xiao Feng's hand. Thank you so much for your trust. I truly never expected my father to make a friend like you. Yang Qiwan glanced at Yang Ning but did not speak, not interrupting the conversation. Yang Ning continued. If you are sure about investing, my team and I have roughly calculated that we will need approximately 350 million to 400 million more afterwards. And my father has currently prepared 200 million for me. So, we are still short approximately between 150 million and 200 million. With such ample funding, my team and I would have a 99% certainty of successfully breaking through the first phase. As you just said, as long as we can break through the first phase, although it will still require spending money afterwards, it will be very easy to attract investment then. So currently, we are still short between 150 million and 200 million. Yang Ning specifically mentioned the outstanding amount twice. The first time was to inform Xiao Feng of the number. The second time, with a slower tone, was genuinely trying to secure the investment. He was also worried that Xiao Feng might regret it, as the amount was indeed too large and very risky. Okay, no problem. 200 million, right? I am in. Xiao Feng's tone was firm and powerful, giving the most definitive answer. For a brief moment, Yang Qiwan and Yang Ning were even a little stunned. He agreed just like that. 26 million. Did not even think about it for a bit longer. He trusts me that much. Yang Ning tried to regulate his breathing. Brother Xiao Feng, please do not think I am annoying. It is just, I really feel like this is not quite real. Like a dream. I will confirm one last time. Just one time. Are you truly willing to directly invest 200 million in my team and me? Confirmed and absolutely, Xiao Feng once again gave the most resolute answer. After receiving a 100% affirmative answer, Yang Ning could not hold back anymore. He was so excited that he almost lost his composure. Because Xiao Feng's investment had completely resolved the problem Yang Ning had been most worried about earlier. He was just afraid that new investment could not be secured once funds ran out. After all, while his father could give him 200 million, that amount was simply not enough, and if no results were produced, it would be very difficult to attract subsequent investment. But now the problem he was worried about was solved. With 400 million in funds, there was a 99% chance of completing the breakthrough. Once the first phase breakthrough was achieved, everything else would just be a matter of time, and there would be no more worries about attracting investment. Xiao Feng's 200 million was simply too important at this moment. This is fantastic, brother, Xiao Feng. I do not even know how to thank you. Your 200 million is too crucial for me. It is worth 2 billion in subsequent funding. After all, once the first phase is complete, even attracting 2 billion in subsequent investment won't be particularly difficult. So Xiao Feng, you are simply my benefactor. No need to say that. Xiao Feng also politely replied, we are all friends, and I was optimistic about this investment from the start. If I really lose money, I will accept it. Of course, it is still best to succeed if possible. After all, 200 million is indeed not a small sum. Yang Ning also smiled. Haha, of course we will definitely succeed. Oh, brother Xiao Feng, let us keep things clear. I need to make sure everything that needs to be clarified is clarified. Currently, my team and I have already invested a total of 150 million. Many people in my team have also poured their life savings into this. It is just that their family backgrounds are ordinary. Some invested hundreds of thousands, some several millions, and only I personally invested 50 million earlier. So currently, a total of 150 million has been invested, plus my father's 200 million, which means we now have a total investment of 350 million. I just did some mental math. With your 200 million investment now, you can hold 36% of the original shares. I wonder if you can accept this share percentage. If you feel it is too little, I will need to discuss it with my team and try my best to raise it to 40% for you. What do you think? With a simple mental calculation, Yang Ning had already figured out the share percentage. Under normal circumstances, it would indeed be a 36% stake. But if Xiao Feng insisted on 40%, it would not be impossible. It would simply mean other members of Yang Ning's team would have to make concessions. But no need. 36% is just right. I do not want to take advantage of anyone. Besides, I will say it again. Making money is not the goal. The goal is for domestically produced power batteries to also go global. After Xiaofeng finished speaking, even he felt a little. However, Yang Ning was quite moved after hearing it. Because given the current situation, Xiaofeng was acting with great righteousness after all, the risk was enormous. Okay, brother Xiaofeng, I won't thank you excessively for such a great kindness. I won't say more. Rest assured, Ningchuang era will definitely succeed. Okay, I trust you. Cheers. And so, under Xiaofeng's righteous stance, he smoothly acquired shares in Ningchuang era once again. And this Ningchuang era will, in the future, usher in its true era. By then, it will truly go international, covering the global market. In the next 10+ years, its market value will soar to nearly 3 trillion. And the 200 million Xiaofeng invested today is estimated to turn into 400 billion to 500 billion in the future, a 200-fold increase. The reason is simple. Xiaofeng's current 200 million can account for 36% of the initial shares. Subsequently, Ningchuang era will inevitably undergo round after round of financing, meaning continuous burning of cash. With each round of financing, Xiaofeng's initial shares will certainly be diluted, calculating by the vast majority of conventional dilution ratios of 75%. After multiple rounds of financing A, B, C, etc. By the time it goes public, Xiaofeng's 36% will likely be diluted to somewhere between 13% and 17%. Taking 15% as an example, if the market value is 3 trillion, that would be equivalent to 450 billion. Moreover, all of the above assumes Xiaofeng only invests 200 million and makes no further investments. With no need for further investment, he currently only needs to invest 200 million to await a return of 400 billion. The return on this investment speaks for itself. The key is that he does not have to worry about it. It is bound to succeed. As the two completely reached an agreement, Xiaofeng once again added another investment to his name. And this investment will also undoubtedly be placed under Polaris Company with dedicated departmental staff responsible for subsequent follow-ups. Xiaofeng just needs to wait for the returns. As of now, all of Xiaofeng's investments, including assets, total exactly 10 types. Polaris, Mizhou Company, KS Group, Flash Delivery to Home, Risheng Group, Hometown Investment, Lingyun Hotel, 25 commercial properties, Ningchuang era, stock investments. Among these current investments, many have already started to turn a profit, allowing him to receive money. For example, dividends from Risheng Group, profits from Lingyun Hotel, some commercial properties that have been rented out, and stocks. Xiaofeng is also making a fortune in stocks. Even if he only buys 30 million worth of stocks, as long as the stock continues to rise, even if it only increases by 30% in a month, that is nearly tens of millions in income, and this is without leverage. In short, Xiaofeng now has daily income, making money even while lying down. Just holding these current assets and shares without doing anything else, Polaris will inevitably become a huge business empire in the future. Of course, how could he do nothing? Xiaofeng currently still has 320 million in his card. Although many previous investments consumed some funds, some investments do not require immediate payment. For example, the investment in Mizhou Group, while subsequent investments will require hundreds of millions. They are made in batches. Another example is the 200 million investment in Ningchuang era, which also needs to be paid in installments. And the investment in his hometown is also given in batches, not all at once from his card. Coupled with Xiaofeng's profits in other areas, even though he seems to have invested a lot, he still has 320 million in his card. With 320 million in his card, he reserves 200 million for contingencies and capital turnover. As for the 100 million he took out, Xiaofeng set his next target on silver. In his memory, silver was about to experience a massive boom, or more accurately, it was already in a boom. It is currently October, and silver is around 4.5 yuan, with slight fluctuations. But if he waits until April next year, silver will directly break through the 10 yuan mark. This means in just 6 months, silver will more than double. If Xiaofeng now takes out 100 million to do silver futures and uses leverage along the way, then who knows how many times that 100 million could multiply? After all, Xiao Feng is a reborn person, and he clearly remembers the trend of silver's price increase. If it were not for fear of being monitored, Xiao Feng's 100 million could theoretically earn trillions. While he certainly would not do that, it is theoretically possible. For example, starting now, Xiao Feng takes out 100 million to buy silver. On every day it rises, Xiao Feng applies 10x leverage. On days it falls, he liquidates his positions in advance. With such operations, theoretically from October to April next year, in these 6 months, a principal of 100 million could earn 9 trillion. Not 900 million, but 9 trillion. Of course, that only exists in theory. After all, this kind of operation is even more exaggerated than what Luke previously mentioned, where a principal of 10,000 yuan became 100 million in 97 consecutive daily limits. Luke's scenario was only a 10% daily increase, whereas Xiao Feng's 100 million principal, with 10x leverage every day, and running away when there is a drop. Under these circumstances, encountering the super boom in silver, a principal of 100 million could indeed earn 9 trillion within half a year. It is just that. Even novels would not dare to write it like that, because, most likely in just half a month, he would be essentially taken away. But if Xiao Feng played it safe and made everything seem reasonable, then encountering this silver boom with 100 million principal in futures, occasionally using leverage and avoiding mid-term pullbacks, earning $1 billion or $2 would still be no problem. After all, in a major boom, it is considered normal for funds to multiply by tens or even dozens of times. Some geniuses can even multiply their principal by several hundred times in a few months. Of course, in his memory, there was also a legendary stock market player who turned a principal of 30,000 into 20 billion. Therefore, if Xiao Feng truly uses 100 million as principal and ultimately turns it into $1 billion or $2 under the boom, it would be within a reasonable range and would not attract the attention of regulators. And next, Xiao Feng also began to strategize, planning to use 100 million as principal, calculating every subsequent step, from establishing positions to avoiding pullbacks, then to rallying and closing positions, and finally to a perfect exit. October 20th. Xiao Feng completed his position building, successfully buying 100 million in silver futures at a price of 4.3 yuan, international precious metals. And from then on, Xiao Feng already had a precise plan for how to operate. For example, if silver rises by 10% today, Xiao Feng only buys with 5x leverage and his funds become 150 million. But even knowing silver will fall by 3% tomorrow, Xiao Feng still uses 5x leverage. In this way, back and forth, the principal would first become 150 million from 100 million and then 127 million. Xiao Feng could earn 27.5 million in 2 days. This way, it both rose and fell, but ultimately he still profited, and everything seemed reasonable. Furthermore, Xiao Feng only considered a maximum of 5x leverage, because with 10x leverage, he could theoretically be liquidated. With such a large amount of capital, if Xiao Feng dared to go directly 10x, it would also appear abnormal. And another point, after Xiao Feng made the 100 million purchase, each time he used 5x leverage, he only took out half of his funds for leverage, although he earned less. To outsiders, everything would appear very reasonable. Finally, Xiao Feng had an even more crucial masterstroke. For example, even though he clearly knew it would hit the daily limit today, Xiao Feng directly liquidated his positions a day in advance, earning nothing. Even though he clearly knew it would hit the daily limit down today, Xiao Feng would even buy a small amount, then apply 5x leverage. For example, only buying 30 million and letting it drop by 15 million with 5x leverage. It seemingly resulted in a loss, but no matter how much he lost, Xiao Feng would always leave himself a safety net, and his account funds would inevitably grow. It was a major boom for silver itself, so the number of times it rose would definitely exceed the number of times it fell. With 5x leverage and various operations, he was 100% guaranteed to profit without loss. As operations began, October 30th, in just 10 days, silver had risen from 4.3 yuan to 5 yuan per gram. Xiao Feng's principal from the original 100 million had reached 135 million after a series of operations. This was still with leverage, a steady buying strategy, and even intentionally incurring some losses along the way. Yet even so, in just 10 days, he had already earned 35 million. The key is that from this moment on, Xiaofeng's current principal is effectively 135 million. Starting from 135 million, it will grow like a snowball, and he will earn more and more with each transaction. Xiaofeng also set a small goal for himself. With a principal of 100 million, he would earn a bit less, aiming for a final profit of 1.5 billion to 2 billion.